virtually every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing.
Me?
Want you to smoke the natural herb.
Sweet.
Some call it marijuana.
Sweet.
Some call it sesame.
Sweet.
Some call it lamb's bread.
The tea.
And some people call it
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I'm your host, Adam Dunn.
I'm Dave Charnick.
I'm J-Lo.
And we are in a packed studio full of white rappers.
Word.
Not me though, just in case anyone thought
full.
that was me.
Now we've got our buddy Andrew Hatchback.
Hi.
With no arms. He's got no arms today, so
Yeah, it's new tech I'm working on.
New tech. And we have Duffy in the studio
Peace.
from Spore, coming to educate you guys a little bit about the psychedelic scene here in Colorado or in Denver specifically, and hopefully we're going to be spreading it out nationwide. Got MTI in the studio, running things.
That's right.
Vinny Bob, ready to do some drops.
Got drops.
And please, nobody give a shit and say, "Oh my gosh, when is your cannabis podcast going to discuss cannabis again?" We need to be. How long has it been since you used that one, you motherfucker?
It's been too long.
I've been waiting.
It's been too long.
I'm going to find that button and rip it off.
Itchy
there.
trigger fingers.
Itchy.
But it's coming up. There's a ballot measure, and it's important that we talk about it, and we have to get the word out. And
I almost brought my blue book.
we have to get everybody educated.
No, we have to stay. We have to stay the course and
Yeah.
stay on it, and just kind of keep reminding people.
6 plants, 2 ounces. Just think of that. If you have a problem understanding
And what's funny
122
is because we're so noticing what bullshit they're trying to pull. Did you guys see the commercial for the fucking vets that they're putting
Mushroom
out now?
vets.
The mushroom one, where they don't say anything about anything. They just sort of say, "Hey, the vets really need this, man." It's
Right.
like, and it's like, "Oh, you little fuckers!"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course they need
Next,
it.
they're going to roll out sick
It's like,
kids.
It's like, yeah, they need it, but they don't need it in a clinical setting and being all, they needed to be able to be with their homies and fucking up in the woods and be able to take care of themselves.
I mean, it's clearly a strategy explaining people's real trauma, and lifting it up as like these are the poster people of this movement, and they do need help. And but when people are just excited about psychedelics, and we're kind of in this window where people are. Now the mainstreaming has rid a lot of the taboo, but people are still super uninformed. So people just see this now and they think, it's going to help veterans, it's going to treat PTSD, depression. That's a good thing. And it's just the way that capitalism will always capitalize on anything revolutionary and try to co-opt
Well,
it.
speaking of capitalizing,
What's next?
Oh yeah, big news.
what Biden?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, capitalizing on us stoners, trying to fucking trick us stoners once again.
Absolutely
Once
bullshit.
again.
Like, oh, hey, wow, oh, guess we should be voting for him. He's making weed. He says he's going to make weed legal. You're like, oh my God, have you guys not learned your lessons? And this is the exact sort of reasoning behind, like, we've been through this whole thing with cannabis. So now we see what's happening with psychedelics. And so we're like, hey guys, we never should take the first deal on anything. Right? That's just the number one rule. It's sort of like you don't, it's like when you get pulled over, right? What do? You shut the fuck up. Like there's certain rules you should follow. You know what I mean? Don't think you're gonna, go around and figure it out some other way. But yeah, I feel like we're very. We've been through it, been through the trenches, and Colorado especially because we're that initial state, right? So we got to see how we did the way we did it, and then we watched other states do it better. And you go, oh man, that was smarter. We should have done that. And even Massachusetts, you can get a micro license and sell your weed to the dispensary. I'm like, that's the fucking shit they should have been doing here. Create all these smaller people, not right to the top.
Right.
I think you and I were talking. I don't even know if it was on the air, which is why I try not to talk to you when we're not on the air. But we knew a stunt was coming.
Don't ever talk to me.
We knew a stunt was coming. I mean, it's an election season. We knew it.
Yeah.
I'm
October
like,
surprise.
Yeah.
That's true.
There you go. It was like
Fucking
that was the
bullshit.
first one, and there'll be a few more, I'm sure.
I've got some concerns, honestly, with legalization of mushrooms just as a whole. And I love mushrooms, obviously, and I'm a huge advocate for the good side to it. But I honestly, I feel like it's not for everyone. It's like, you know, I have this fear that you're going to be driving down the road with a whole bunch of jackasses that are tripping balls now on top of the normal
But
shit.
here's the thing: is like, do you want people to be in jail for
No,
experiencing
you're
mushrooms?
right.
So that's
You're right.
that's a bigger point.
But there's an important distinction between decriminalization and legalization.
Right,
You're right.
exactly.
So
people think they're going to be like mushroom dispensaries and shit, and that's not happening. You know what I mean? Not yet.
Right. No, and that's
Far
probably,
from it. Far from it.
That's
Like,
probably
it's
not going to
self-evident.
happen.
It's the exact opposite. It's like if this goes through, it's like, no, now you have to go to this, you have to go through all this process to get and spend an incredible amount of money. We're talking like, they're literally talking thousands of dollars to go and trip. You're like, are you fucking kidding me? That's the opposite. The whole point of it is it's cheap and easy and convenient.
The big commercial market is not going to be around profiting off selling mushrooms. It's selling the therapy and the psychedelic experience around it, and these big corporate retreat centers that are already starting to be developed in Oregon. But yeah, should I introduce?
Yeah, would you mind
and all that?
tell us who you are?
Yeah.
Tell us your history of helping getting the
Don't let us do it because
ordinance
we're
passed.
terrible at that. That's one thing we're never good at.
I forget sometimes.
I'd love to hear your interpretation of 122 because we've had some people call us up and say, dude, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Legal psychedelics, woo!
Yeah.
And when Adam read through the entire Blue Book, you really have to read like 95% of the words before you get to the last few pages to see why it's fucked up.
Right.
So the floor is yours, Duffy.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so Duffy, that's my last name. Full name Matthew Duffy, go by my last name. Co-founder of Spore, which is the Society for Psychedelic Outreach, Reform, and Education. We came out of the campaign that decriminalized mushrooms in Denver in 2019. Clearly, I'm an advocate. Not a prohibitionist, as people have slandered this way recently, which is just ridiculous. We've done a lot of work, as much as could be done in community during COVID, since the Denver campaign, which made Denver the first city to decriminalize any psychedelic substance since Prohibition. And that's not that long ago. Before COVID is the new BC, so it feels like centuries ago. But to move this quickly, I don't think that's really being recognized enough. It's a decriminalization process that happened in a city that was this huge breakthrough, and then 3 years later, without any real meaningful attempt at educating community or empowering community organizing to help people be empowered for Coloradans to lead the way with policy, because we do need to change these laws, but they need to be for, by the people, not driven by PACs who are representing corporate interests. And that's essentially the beef with Prop 122. This is not,
and people that aren't even from Colorado. Groups that are coming in from out of state,
exactly,
out of state money,
and they built relationships with largely the established cannabis corporate world in Colorado. Right. So it's a lot of the same people who pushed the Amendment 64 in Colorado, and a lot of the people I'm in community with, I got a lot of love for. A lot of the proponents I was with last night at a Chacruna event that was a big promotional event for the NMHA, but. So Spore's involvement we were involved in drafting Prop 122, and why we got involved was because after some polling from a PAC called New Approach, which is this out-of-state PAC that everyone's been referring to, they saw a potential green light because polling for some sort of regulatory framework with psychedelics was reading good with the first poll that they did. So they were going to go for it whether community was involved or not. Because we were aware of that, and we, were pretty much the only organization that could do anything to kind of kick in the door and influence and get community, especially people who are always underrepresented or not included at all in these processes, more marginalized people, in to take part in the process to have their voices heard, we started a coalition called the My Coalition because we love our mushroom puns. You know, we can't stay with that.
Well, of course. Can of puns, and now we're going into mushroom puns.
Mushroom puns.
I like mushroom
And
puns.
psychedelic
I actually got
mushroom
into
use.
a pun battle for 20 minutes on the study of mycology. The sole witness got disgusted halfway through and walked away from it.
Big pun over here.
Yeah.
Dave is on mushrooms. He can't fucking-
You're a pun.
I'm a pungent.
Oh shit. I put the injure in ginger. That's all I got.
Ouch. So, you know, there was 0 people of color in the original stakeholder group for what's now the Natural Medicine Health Act until Spore and the My Coalition got involved, and we were like, hey, this is not cool at all for so many reasons. You're skipping all of the necessary community work to build trust. You know, all we've advocated for from jump is let's create an ethical framework of shared values and principles to go about policymaking to make sure it's solidarity and we're empowering communities to responsibly steward medicine, to integrate medicine so we don't create a huge fucking mess.
Yeah, and how classic is
said.
it? And how classic is it that they would just go with the same framework, with the same sort of, you know, non-ethnic group, with the non-native, with no, you know, and also we're talking about psychedelics here. We're not talking, and same with cannabis. It was tough because, you know, cannabis is one of those things where, you know, if you look at the industry, it's mostly white guys growing weed, and you know, and that's just kind of the part. But when it comes to psychedelics, it's like across the board. There's like, you know, there's no real distinct type, you know, and that's what sucks if they're not representing that.
Right, and you know, people who shouldn't have every reason to not trust the regulators, you know, and the statesmen and the people who continue to just kind of perpetuate a pattern of domination. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna hop into a room to start talking policy in a 3-month window when there's no conversation around whether we're going to do it or not. Now that's been decided. We're definitely going to do it. You can be included in providing input on what the policy looks like, but whether you like it or not, we're going to push it through. So the entire time, our involvement with the My Coalition was like, we're going to do our best to make sure that if this is going to be a thing, because we know if they're just pushing for a regulatory framework and they're just going off the mainstream buzz, they're going to get regulation without decriminalizing first. And to go back to that point I wanted to make, because this is many people don't understand the difference between decriminalization and legalization. Decriminalization is our personal and communal rights, that the act of being in relationship with a substance is no longer criminalized. And it's not really the medicines or psychedelics that are criminalized, it's people. And you know, it more largely affects people of color, more marginalized people, poor people. So those are the people who are more intensely policed, right? So legalization is permission to commodify. That's the difference. So legalization covers everything commercial, the sale. So there are ways we can go about creating a strong community foundation just through decrim, because people can gift medicine, right? You can gift the mushrooms. And then what people can, you know, we can create community economics around is supporting facilitation, supporting the nonprofits who are creating infrastructure and education, supporting the whole support system that can hold people through their healing or their transformation or what their spiritual journey with psychedelics, or just, you know, give people, you know, safe recourse to have their own relationship. Recreational to me, it's all healing, it's all spiritual, it's all transformative. If you it's positive transformative if you have the conditions that support people. That's why set and setting really matters. And that's
why it's great to have all these groups that are out there that are willing, and then to not marginalize them and make them have to go to the man now. If you want to, like, it makes no sense. So, yeah, of course, and that's what it's also interesting with you know, like with mushrooms. microdosing changed everything when it came to like people's perception of it, because now it's not just therapy or hero dosing and or like classic what people pictured. Now all of a sudden it's like can help everybody really, and depending on your situation. But of course, Silicon Valley first people to kind of figure it out, like, oh wow, microdose some acid and all of a sudden you're really, really productive, you know what I mean? And then when it comes to for now, the problem is that people are looking at it from like, oh, because it only takes an ounce of mushrooms to create X amount of product, right? So all of a sudden people start looking at widgets. Now they're like, oh my God, it's going to be, gangbusters. But the difference is like cannabis is something that you do every day. Every day, consistent. So you can get into a rhythm where you're like, okay, we know what we're doing.
Right.
Whereas with psychedelics, it's sort of like, especially if you're growing your own, like you could have enough for a year and 3 months, you know what I mean? And then you're good. So it is, I think, going to fuck with them in the long run, because they're thinking way too quickly as a money thing, and they really need to get away from the money side, because that's where it always, that's like with cannabis with me, I'm just happy as long as I have weed. I'm not looking at it like, oh, that's worth X, because somebody walks into my room, they're like, how much is this worth? And how much is that? I was like, dude, don't even start thinking like that. That's like, it's not worth anything. It's worth whatever you think it is worth. It's worth everything. It's worth nothing.
It's worth my mental state of being to have it on hand.
But
know that I
knowing
have
I have it is the good part. Yeah, exactly. It's that being able to crack open the bucket. Okay, it's there. Okay.
It's kind of binary, right? And you have it or you don't.
Yeah, and then the less you have, the more important it is. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, you get into this, sliding scale. But with I think with psychedelics, the good part is that we can grow enough to supply all our friends easily. If somebody really needs it, they don't need to pay for it. There's no reason people need to even ever pull money out of their pocket, because
and you're saying like with decriminalization. Yeah. And so
definitely not with legalization, because that changes
everything. And it's so I think there's a big there's an unnecessary fight between kind of a binary that there's valid truths to the need for regulation, right, and the need to decriminalize, but to place regulation versus decriminalization is problematic, because it assumes that people can't regulate it. It assumes communities can't regulate. And if we empower people to at least not be arrested for their rights, for us to be in communion with medicine, with nature, and we support people in getting informed and resourcing the necessary coalition building work, so that people can create community-led ballot initiatives, then we can start to figure out how to kind of marry what's bound to come, because the commercialization is going to happen. The therapeutic, the medical use of psychedelics, it's all going to happen. What we need to make sure is that all of that is held in community trust, that, we're not going to be able to stop. We don't want to stop profit from happening. We want to be able to build community wealth with this, but we want to prevent profiteering and exploitation. And the problem with Prop 122 is it gives so much power to those already in power, and does not set up any sort of mechanisms to empower the community, to empower the little person.
It's actually blocking it.
Yeah, it is. It is setting up a scenario where decriminalization, which in the law, in Prop 122, because of the language necessary amount that they included, if you look at the personal use section of the law, it says that in what is included in this provision is the necessary amount to cultivate, to grow, to have as personal use. Who determines what necessary is?
Yeah, that's
a cop. Right. The first cop who busts in, thank you, a cop busts in and says that seems unnecessary.
Right.
And that's what this law has set up. It's set up Coloradans to think that it's decriminalized and they're all good and they can do their thing. They can grow mushrooms and no limits. But what's gonna happen is that the legal sacrifices of people having to go through the court system because of the vague way that the law was written will determine what that actual limit becomes. The necessary amount will be determined probably through courts.
So while you're talking about that, is I get super pissed because I consume at least half a pound to a pound of weed a month, and like sometimes if I'm not flowering or whatever's going on.
Wait. How much?
Definitely, at least a half a pound.
Do you follow her Instagram
and
feed?
because I buy an ounce like every other day, and I feel
my new custy. You're my new custy.
The blunts make you cruise through it, but so like that's the thing though, is if I buy I get just so frustrated because I have to go to a dispensary. I'll get an ounce of weed. I really want to buy at least 2 ounces. Now there's no fucking medical dispensary, so even though I have my card, you can't just like stroll in.
Just relax, bro.
And I think that they've come up with like the most ridiculous. The point is like with the hash, with flour, you used to be able to get an extended plant count and buy a pound and a quarter at a time. Now,
a pound a month?
She said half to a pound.
I said half to a pound.
Yeah, the pound part might be a little bit.
Pound a month?
I guarantee it's close.
She sounds like Snoop. Snoop was talking some bullshit too. I smoke.
Snoop smoked blunts too.
He started talking some stupid numbers, and I was like, he ain't
Snoop
smoking that. He might go through that weed because he's giving it all to his homies.
Do you think I'm a sharer?
No.
How many times do I bring weed?
Never.
Never. Exactly. Anyways, but I feel like these people, like you're saying, with these limits, I want to know how they test it.
Well, the crazy part is, I mean, with shrooms, it's totally ambiguous because you've got different strains, you've got different
wet or dry,
wet, dry, freeze dried. There's just like imagine when somebody grows really beautiful,
wave the substrate,
huge mushrooms, and then freeze dries them, and they look. The cop's gonna find and drop it. He's gonna be like, "Oh my God, that's enough mushrooms for
the pants are
gonna
come down."
Like, no, actually, this is not. This, So there's so much to be. Yeah, you can't even go there. It's like, and that's literally, it's you never know what you need until you're there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
isn't the raw problem is the way our laws are written. We have this initiative process, and you make them as ambiguous as possible to get people to vote for it, and then you hope, if you're pro that bill, that when they implement it, they write rules in the spirit of the law, because that's all we're doing. We're giving them the spirit of what we want, and they have to put it into legal language.
Yeah, but look at what happens with cannabis. We're talking nanograms.
Exactly.
Like nanograms. Like, get the fuck out of here with your nanograms. Like, that is not a way to figure out if somebody's impaired, because as we know, you could not smoke all night, go there in the morning, and you will fail. Doesn't mean you can't drive. You're feeling. I just woke up. I had a cup of coffee.
Tell us.
Even more funny, because I got a DUI for weed, and
oh my God, how many times have we heard these stories?
Well, so
which DUI
this is my
was
first
this?
DUI, and I was a young lassie. I was leaving the grow. I was a head grower, and I reeked like weed. Anyways, we didn't smoke a blunt because it was like a blizzard. My headlight was out. Classic.
I remember. This is
the headlight was out.
This is the headlight story. I remember this.
See,
Snow,
thank you.
Headlight. Cop didn't give you a break, and I was like, "How could you not get out of a ticket?
Yeah,
in the snow.
You're fucking telling me.
Come on,
doing the
girl,
roadside. So I came in though. I got an attorney, and the attorney. This was before they passed the law. The law was happening in 2013. And it was July 1st that they were passing that. And I got tested in March.
June 30th.
And so I was all excited because my attorney was like, well, that law doesn't even go into effect. And he's like, you have your medical card. He's like, but you're definitely going to come way above it. Like we were talking about how much I smoked and all these things. So I got my test results back. And this is hilarious. I came in at 4 nanograms before the law, below the legal limit. And they still gave me a DUI because they said they had to set an example out of me. And 4 nanograms. 4 nanograms. And I smoked though probably comparable to what I smoke now. So
because they didn't know how to test back then.
I think that it's all dumb.
Yeah.
They still got your picture up on the wall there, or what?
Probably. Don't Google my name.
Poster.
The poster child. We caught this one little blonde girl. She thought she was going to get away with it. That's the exact reason.
Well,
you think it's too easy for you to get out of it that they were like, we're not going to let it.
My dispensary that I worked for paid for it, and they were even more pissed because they were paying for it. They were writing all my checks.
Yeah. And the drug war has been so normalized now, we laugh about it. Like, you know, it's fucked up.
It's so
that
fucked
you have
up.
to go through that at all. You know, and yeah, like, you know, we should be responsible, not smoke, drive, whatever. But people shouldn't be punished for, I mean, I am an abolitionist. I think we need to work to end the drug war, and we need to start transferring how we over-resource and militarize police and empower communities to actually heal, because policing is a symptom of a society that doesn't actually take care of its people. So instead of investing in people actually, you know, healing and being resourced to be well, we punish them for a society that makes them sick, and then they, you know, they're overly medicated, and that actually, you know, terrorizes and destroys a lot of people just through pharmaceuticals. And then when people actually, you know, have a beacon of hope when they start to learn about plants and mushrooms and all the psychedelics or whatever that can actually help them heal. But, you know, even not those other drugs, people are using substances to cope, to get through, to bear with a society that doesn't actually, you know, lend itself to health and people's well-being. So, you know, if we can kind of start the conversation there, you know, then it really matters. What matters most is that we make sure that protections are in place for the people before we start talking about an industry, right? So, like, it's not about, you know, we're going to create a psychedelic complete anarchy where there's, of course, rules are going to form. There's always, like, communities, whatever we create, whatever kind, the way that we regulate medicine in our own communities, that will inspire what happens at state and federal levels. So if we want this to not be a top-down dictation of how all this looks like, which is Terence McKenna warned us about this day over and over again. He said, there's going to be a day when this starts to go mainstream, and people, please make sure that this isn't controlled by the states and the marriage between state and corporations, because this has always been people's medicine. These are our family. We all come from relationships with, you know, indigenous medicine.
And who doesn't have a bigger vision than Terence McKenna, right? So it's like,
straight up.
You know, as far
but
as
you know,
I know this medicine.
It is really complex, because decriminalization isn't enough to ensure the protections that we need for ecosystems, for indigenous cultures and people that are already endangered. What's more important than the policy, where we actually fuck up, is the process. The laws are just a manifestation of the culture. You know, you can't make racism illegal, but you can end segregation, right? So, like, we have to actually do the cultural work and the community work. That's primary. The right laws will come from that, and will actually move a lot faster if we slow down. You know, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. We call it moving at the speed of trust. And that's really hard to translate to the profiteers who know that they can just get what they want through politics as usual. You know, it's like they got the power.
And they're also not looking at it from a healing point of view or anything. They're just they're literally looking at it from money, and they're looking at, we have to be first, and we have to get in the, you know, and that's again, like,
I'll say, I need to say that too, because, you know, that's a big pulse of what's going on there. There are ulterior motives, and those people have good intentions. A lot of them do. They think they're doing the right thing, but good intentions pave the way to hell. We know this, right? Like, people who really think that they're saving the world. It's the same savior complex played out over and over again. You're not saving anybody. People aren't suffering out here because of a lack of access to mushrooms. People are suffering because of generations of colonization, man. Like,
that's the word I was just going to bring up earlier. I was going to say, it's just colonization over and over.
And if we're coming at psychedelics with this colonial paradigm that's driving it, we're just reinforcing the causes of the illness, and that we're trying to work together to heal. But for people to start actually, you know, looking at that, it's controversial for us to be taking the stand that we're doing. You know, we are pointing to the problems that we have with the policy, but also the process and the power dynamics that are really fucked up, because you can't even understand Prop 122 if you don't understand the power dynamics behind it and all these agendas that are working to really set up shop and dictate what rulemaking looks like.
We have a question from the chat here.
Oh, word.
And Mike Denver's asking Matt why Spore came out against Initiative 61.
What? Say it again.
Why did Spore come out against Initiative 61? And let me go ahead. Because
I'm pretty sure that's what he's just been saying for the past 5 minutes.
No. If you're talking about Initiative 61, that was the
right.
Yeah, that was the decriminalization initiative. This is who?
Okay.
Mike
Denver.
Mike Denver, my friend. I love you, and I hate to break it to you. You're misinformed on that one. I actually came up with the idea, humble, all humility. But the idea for Prop 61, I actually proposed first.
Oh, okay. Because
so
I heard that somewhere along the way too.
We helped write it. We helped make it happen.
Oh, okay.
But
because why wouldn't you want to slander and darken, the views of the guy who was running? It's Amendment 58 propaganda.
So just so viewers are not confused, at one point there were two initiatives. There was Prop 61 that was just decriminalization, and there was Prop 122. So actually, it was I-61 and I-58. I-58 has become Prop 122. I'm sorry, this is so fucking confusing.
Yeah, I know.
But so the Natural Medicine Health Act, which is Prop 122, was 58. 61 came through our response to what was happening with the Natural Medicine Health Act, because one of the biggest pieces we were fighting for was, okay, if there's going to be a regulatory market and we might not be able to stop that, we need to make sure decriminalization happens first. Full decriminalization, no limits. What they were saying, what they wrote first in their first draft of Prop 120, what's now Prop 122, was 4 gram limits to all the psychedelics that were included. But it was 4 grams of the psychedelic substance, where they're like, well, that's like 200 pounds of mushrooms or something like that. And we're like,
I'll save that.
So check this out. Any cop can look at mushrooms and be like, I need to weigh that. I need to see if there's 4 grams of psilocybin in it. Are you thinking about the relationship between police and the people in these interactions? Because you're setting people up to at the very best have their medicine seized, and then everything is still is gate kept by the industry. And so
and after they pay tons of money to their lawyer, they might get their things dropped because of the reality of 4 grams.
So this is important. This question is important because people need to know this history. Because they were not actually including our input, the primary power behind Prop 122, they were placating and appeasing us over and over. They're like, yeah, sure, come listen to you, but we're not actually going to meaningfully include your input. At very best, we'll kind of like co-opt it and put little like piecemeal equity provisions, but what you're asking for is not politically viable, so we can't do that. So we were like, well, fuck this. Why are we gonna petition these people who aren't listening to us to include our input in their initiative? Let's create our own and see what they do. So we helped start Prop 61. Spore, as a nonprofit, we can't lead policy campaigns. So we never came out against Prop 61 at all. We supported the process happening entirely, but it was led by Decriminalized Nature Colorado. They didn't gather enough signatures. That's why it's on the ballot. And we knew that they wouldn't gather enough signatures. Prop 61 was actually a means to leverage power in a situation where we didn't have much. We were getting thrown around, But after that happened, the game changed.
Well, that's good education. Yeah, because I think I maybe heard it from him, but he didn't.
Yeah, Mike.
We love you, Mike. Set the record straight to all your homies. I don't know what you guys saying out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn.
It's because it's like that whenever there's those two. I mean, it was confusing for everybody, because that was why we were
absolutely.
really pushing it weekly. Like, we have to kind of stay on top of this, because if you don't tell somebody for a week, they're gonna get fooled. You know what I mean? Because also the people that were out there getting the signatures, they were just saying whatever the fuck they wanted to say to get that money. So they were like, well,
Man,
they were
that
just,
was such a joke. It was really actually infuriating.
right. So you knew that they were just feeding everybody bullshit, and they were telling everybody,
Yeah, I mean, the
of course
whole
it's going to be
whole
covered by
canvassing
insurance.
campaign
You're like, no,
just
It's not.
miseducated Colorado to a whole new level. It's just they got a bunch of inexperienced people. I mean, I talked to many of them, and I got a few of them to convert. Live on the streets, they're like, "I'm done with this. This is terrible."
Yeah, and anyone didn't know what they were
because they're getting paid $20 an hour out there. They have no idea. I met a couple who did know what's up, and they really believed in it. But they were, first of all, they gave them a script that was really reflective of these ads that they're getting now. Like, did you know that there's something out there to help veterans and victims of sexual assault to work through their PTSD? I mean, just, for lack of a better word, like pimping out that trauma, that's very real.
That is so incredible that you see all these perspectives of all these different angles. It's really refreshing, and I think very educational.
Oh, nice. I'm sure your viewers are
J-Lo
hella bored.
approved.
Can I ask you a
Nice.
question?
Yeah.
So during this, I've been thinking about, like the consequences of a regulated environment. It's reactive, always kind of at the beginning, because regulators are in the position of making rules for something they don't fully grasp yet, and the operators are in the position of really not wanting to talk to the regulators for any reason. Right?
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, the regulations are just kind of adapted, thrown at it, and then they kind of see what sticks, and they're not really targeted, and it's left to the operator to bear that cost. So what do you think of in this kind of decriminalized climate, like, sharing information on production efficiency and research, just basic product safety? How do you produce the product safely? Get it to market?
we honestly feel like a lot of that would actually be really beneficial to work out before these big sweeping laws were passed. But I want to say this too: we're not apocalyptic about a pass scenario for Prop 122, and I want to say that because it's important for us to be empowered and not fall victim to anything. The people here in Colorado, there is a really strong psychedelic community here, and it's getting more diverse, more solid as we go. There's been a lot of fracturing through this process, but at this point there's like a real people's movement that's honestly kind of been catalyzed by all this bullshit because we came together.
Well, if somebody is who worked so hard for Amendment 61, like Mike Denver, actually thought that you were against it, you can see how deep their misinformation went.
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of confusion around our role. I mean, some people thought that we were like in bed with this pack because we were trying to get people to come to it so we could actually, kind of infiltrate the situation and make an impact. And there's an entanglement because our biggest
you have to
funder,
engage with them if you want to make anything changes, right? You can't
you can't just ignore it. And if it's anybody's responsibility, if it feels like it's ours, we came out of the campaign that decriminalized Denver. We opened up a portal, and angels and demons come through portals, So, but to come back to your question, my man Andrew, right, Andrew?
Yeah. I've been called worse.
today.
Yeah, so the My Coalition is back in action, and what we're focused on is creating a people's medicine pact that is the ethical framework that's created in community for policy that we should have had first before any of these conversations were happening. And in that, part of what we want to create in the My Coalition, we want to really create focused support for cultivators to basically create like a growers union. Because if we can unionize the growers and through kind of cooperative models, we can produce enough medicine easily. And just imagine this with mushrooms in a decrim scenario. You grow reishi, lion's mane, chaga, cordyceps, whatever. You can sell all of that, right? And then you have magic mushrooms that you give away. right? And if people are members to that co-op and they pay for membership and they can buy the other medicinal mushrooms, they're guaranteed there's psilocybin mushrooms, and you're creating like a really powerful regenerative economic system, right? These are all the things that community is working on here, and that's just for on the cultivation side. Like there is really robust, brilliant thinking happening, and if we had the time, and I honestly feel like part of the reason why they're coming to Colorado so soon is because the community here is so strong, and we could create economic models that make the profit-driven models obsolete, right?
I think you're going to get sick of talking to me in the near future.
Why? We're going to be friends?
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
We should probably spit some rhymes at some point.
That's going to go down. Don't relax, guys.
We're going to save that for Patreon.
But
No,
but it's the same as with medical and recreational. Like that model, to me, is doesn't make sense, because it should be medical should never have to pay for their, if you're truly medical. And the thing is, the medical got exploited because of taxes. So everybody looked at it from a tax point of view and from quality, and also like in Colorado, it was like, oh well, look, you could have up to 1,000 milligrams in this one bar, or you can go on the rec side and get 10 milligrams. You're like, but that's to me, like, I have to eat 100 of these bars. So like if you needed medicine, then you had to go medical, right?
Right.
And I think it's the same with people who have PTSD or people who have migraine. People who have like severe cluster migraines, and I watch them consume massive amounts of mushrooms, and like they ain't doing it for fun at all, and they go in their room and then they come back out and they're a fucking different person, you know what I mean? And so those kind of situations absolutely should not have to pay for it, because it would be just extra stress on their life, because they're getting these cluster headaches and now they got to work twice as hard to pay for them, you know what I mean?
It's like a diabetic having to pay for insulin to live.
Yeah, so there's certain things like that where I feel like if you're really using it medically, then you shouldn't have to pay, because the numbers would become realistic too. It wouldn't be like, we have 1 million patients. It's like, no. And that's what's funny about Colorado, is it became from the healthiest state to the most like unhealthy state because of all the people needing cannabis, which they didn't need, you know what I mean? So it was like just bullshit. So the numbers got skewed, where it went from like this, yoga driven sort of athletic out, people out hiking and everything. But just because there are all these people now signing up for their medical card and having to lie to say that, let me think what I got now, making up so much of bullshit. So that kind of stuff. So
so people won't need any medical purpose with Prop 122. And I'm not saying that to hype it up. I'm saying that, this is not, they're making it about healing, right?
Yeah.
But it's really being geared for like a corporate retreat centers. Not just that, but largely, for real, that's going to be a big part of what you'll see in Colorado, is these very unaffordable, inaccessible retreat experiences for people from all over the world. It's not for Coloradans.
Exactly.
It's people from everywhere who want to have a legal psychedelic experience, and they get to come to Colorado in the beautiful mountains.
And go to Aspen.
Exactly. Just play it out.
Just play it out. Aspen.
So it's also, it's also going to set up a regulatory framework for these healing centers, so-called healing centers, right? And another thing we really fought hard for was meaningful equity, where there would be a reciprocity fund for, like, with startup fees. It wouldn't necessarily be a tax, but it'd be like a mandate in the law, where these bigger corporate institutions who are gonna create the retreat centers and these big, the businesses that will make a lot of money, that a percentage of their profit, if they have a certain revenue level, will have to go into this fund to fund the community healing models, right? That can only be led by the community. Only people in the communities know what they need to heal. So we fought hard for that, right? And they said that they included that. They didn't. That was not included. What was included was reduced provisions for subsidized cost for people to access the psychedelic assisted services, for people to access the healing centers costs, right? But that's not equity. Access and equity are not the same. Like, if we're not actually resourcing communities to heal themselves, we don't even understand what healing is and what's required, because healing and sovereignty are inextricably linked. If people aren't being empowered to be sovereign, to choose their healing, to choose what healing even means for them, it's not healing, it's authoritative. You're still in a paradigm that is paternal, that's not letting people actually evolve, because the state supposedly knows what's best for us. The corporation supposedly knows what's best. No, we know. And we have to restore that trust and power to us.
I know why they left that provision out of the
Tell
their
me
language. Because then they would have to implement it.
I think,
of course.
I think it's terrifying, though, to think about, like, trusting somebody in, I guess, a setting like that, though, is like being in a vulnerable place potentially in your life, and like trusting. I don't know. Those are the things that I just wonder.
So wait, and say to say it again.
Like if you were going to one of these retreats and you had I don't know. Maybe it'd be similar to now, but say you had like some shaman or some guidance person. I feel like you could potentially be in a really vulnerable place, and like depending on how that person would get certified to be in that role, or.
What's 120 hours now? Was it?
They'll have to determine that. I think that's like what is around Oregon, right? So that's important to name, because there is going to be licensure for facilitators, right? And the facilitators don't necessarily have
facilitate.
Sounds like
no, they don't have to work for one of these healing centers.
Oh, I see.
They don't have to, but because how the game's being rigged, all the rulemaking is gonna underfunded nonprofits and the people of Colorado who barely even understand what's happening right now are supposed to try to be involved, right, and have their voices heard in a political system where these folks who are with this pact, they already have deep relationships to the governor, to all of the policymakers who they're going to be able to really determine what all this actually looks like with implementation. The odds are just really stacked. The odds are just really stacked against the people, because it's being pushed so fast. And so while yes, facilitators will be able to get licensed if they want, they'll still have to abide by the oversight of the state in this regulatory framework that's largely not going to be determined by them. It's going to be created by the people who have the most power in the situation. And the healing centers and these bigger profit models are going to really have such an advantage over grassroots, community-based medicine stewardship, period, right? And it's just how the game's set up. And that's why, people are like, why are you coming out against this? You're Spore, you're this big psychedelic organization. Also, a lot of people have our back. The groundswell of the people here who grassroots and who took part in this and who actually, see what's going on and are willing to be honest about it, don't want it. But
you got to register to vote
people,
if you don't want it.
That's true. But for the people who just see this as progress, like at least it's a good step. It's a step, right? It's really not, because we're talking about a foundation, and foundations fucking matter. It sets the course for generations of how this is all going to look like. If there's any time to if there's any point where you really want to take your time when you're designing and building, it's the foundation, right? They're starting with the scaffolding, like they're starting with the roof.
As they always do on these situations, because because they're looking at the shiny shit. They're going for the money. They're going for the, oh my God, we're going to be able to be so far ahead.
I could shroom at Red Rocks, really?
Can I ask a question regarding this cultivation of mushrooms? Is there risk, like pesticides or pest and disease issues with propagating shrooms?
I don't know of anyone really using any sort of substance like that to grow, but here's the thing: when growing now, part of what is in the definition of healing centers and what DORA is going to have authority over is like where mushrooms come from, right? Nice. So like the cultivation of mushrooms nice poop. It's gonna be a nice poop. The cultivation of mushrooms if people want to be, growers and have, be legally protected, they're gonna have to actually go into this model because of how the regulatory framework is now at odds with decriminalization, instead of them working together, which is what we were like, maybe this could be harmonious in the beginning.
Let me translate into cannabis for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
That provision is the fucking bullshit caregiver provision way back in 2012 that got everybody to step out of the shadows and announce who they were, and then give up your fucking patients' names to the state, to justify why you needed to grow that shit. So bad.
That is definitely not one of our favorite things.
Well, the reason I asked this is because one time I had a client in Michigan. This was probably like 7 years ago, and she was like really confident in telling me how she was cultivating her stuff like really organic, and she's giving all these patients all this. Anyways, so she tells me that she's using the RO water, and I'm like, oh, that's so awesome that you have reverse osmosis, right? And no, it's like her dehumidifiers were like all molded and like fucked, and like all of it was, so she was using the runoff to water her organic plants because she thought that the bacteria and
not for yak.
I just like have seen some
like
things that like people with good intentions will be like, I don't know.
Well, how many grow rooms have you guys walked through where people didn't realize it was powdery mildew back in 2000?
Exactly. That was gonna be my point. It's like the only way we're ever gonna.
There's no testing for microbials on microbial.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
It's 100%. I know mold on fungus.
I know trichoderma is like a pretty common just air mold that's a contaminant.
And there's other
Aspergillus?
bacteria.
Well, no, not necessarily.
You don't think?
I'm not going there.
Okay, I just.
That was kind of
whoa.
But
that was derogatory. Said aspergillus like that.
He was about to rap battle you, I think, right there.
Like, I'm sorry.
No. I just like trichoderma. It's like can super rarely be implicated in like human health concerns and stuff. But so, that's off cuff all I really know about what.
If we think about the other big state corporate regulated economies, like say big agriculture or big pharma, I don't think state oversight guarantees quality.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's just
I'd like to see.
That's just personally how
you have data on that.
And
that's hilarious.
And what I know is that we all have to do better to take responsibility and make sure that our economics and policies and all the parts of our society are held accountable by the people. Like no one's going to do that for us. No piece of policy is going to do that. We have to do that, and we can create more transparent, equitable, quality, holistic models that really support all different people's needs, because we're including people and co-creating those models. And they're ecosystems. There's not going to be a one-size-fits-all. What we can do is just kind of build in community to understand, the kind of genius that's coming from all these different parts and in different communities that have different modalities, different cultural lineages, just different needs when it comes to psychedelics. Where, if the status quo is gonna drive what creating healing models look like, right? Think about the people who are most marginalized only being able to access medicine legally from the institutions that have been primarily traumatizing them the most, right? It really is the same old in that way. So if we do need a new paradigm to actually create something that's going to work. And I don't honestly, I'm not someone who believes that getting the medicine out to everybody is necessarily a good thing. Is that like if we just decriminalized and created the legal framework for people to feel safe for medical therapeutic, I don't think mainstreaming psychedelics is necessarily going to be positive. I think it totally could and should be, but it's really up to us. Mushrooms are not our new savior. We got to do it.
I love that.
We have to do it. And healing, you know, literally it means becoming whole, right? So like if we're going to actually have real conversations around healing, we got to move away from the whole medical idea that this is a mental health crisis that we're in, and that's why we need psychedelics. We're still addressing symptoms and not talking about systems, right? Because we're like, we're trying to diagnose a fish over and over again that's swimming in dirty water. We're like, what's wrong with the people? Like, we got to treat the people. No, we don't. We got to treat the culture. We got the water is fucked up. There's something
You're saying
in the
we
water.
need our tank cleaned.
Yes. But when you start having that conversation, you really start tickling the dragons, you know, like so.
Well,
but we're here
it's
for
it's
fire.
yeah, and it's like a lot of, I mean, like food deserts and fucking places like that where people have no access to good quality food, and then they're wondering why that, you know, geez, why these people always got like more issues. It's like, well, maybe because of the food that they're consuming. It starts there, you know what I mean? And it's like, so food and it's like access to good food, organic food, huge, you know. And I think also that's the good thing about, and that's the other problem with psychedelics, is that people are going to go quickly, too far, too fast, where they need to also, like we're saying, pump the brakes, because, you know, mushrooms is, you can really see the healing within people quickly, whereas once you start talking about, I mean, with ketamine too, of course, there's synthetic things out there that do have their place.
Yeah, totally.
But when you know, what I see is like, just like it was, I mean, you saw I think the whole reason why acid got a bad rap is because this same situation, we were in this like, oh well, everybody needs to have it. Well, that's not true. It's not exactly true.
Doctors were fucking dolphins.
And the minute you got it to all the, and the minute you got it into all the wrong people's hands.
That drunk history is my favorite one. The best ever.
But the minute, you know, you put it like out there too quick, it's what fucked it up. Like it could have eased in a little bit better, and it would have probably.
Yeah, and again, you know, I'm a big. Terence is an elder of mine. You know, he's not my only, but I really have looked to him for a lot of guidance, and I consult with mushrooms often. Like
Timothy Leary is like who fucked it up because he got too excited.
And you know,
and he was a straight that got excited, that kind of went.
Yeah,
oh.
and he you know, I always because you're right. He did fuck a lot of shit up, and I think we do gotta give homage to Tim for what he also did, which was open up a lot of space, you know. And he was part of what inspired a revolution, and then he was part of what kind of like was the downfall of what was the revolution of the psychedelic movement was in how it was really bound up in sort of like rainbow coalition. Like the hippies and the civil rights movement were working together, and the Controlled Substances Act, we know now because this dude John Elrickman, who was one of Nixon's top aides, said, and I think it was like 2010, it wasn't that long ago, in a CNN interview, he's just like, no qualms about it, just straight talk, said, we knew exactly what we were doing. We knew our problem was never with drugs. Our two biggest enemies were black people and the anti-war left, he called them, which was the hippie movement, right? And so what we did was we targeted these drugs, because then that gave us a reason to be able to break up their meetings, raid their homes, destroy them and their communities.
Can only break one law at a time.
Right. So that's what the drug war has always been about. It's not a war on drugs. Yeah. It's a war on people. It's a war on black and brown bodies, poor people primarily, and a war on consciousness. So if we're not addressing the symptoms,
and coincidentally,
if we're not addressing the real causes,
because they were supplying them the drugs in the long run, you know. So it's like, oh.
I mean, and we've seen, you know, cannabis. A lot of the cannabis reform has not been, I think, a means to like ending the drug war. It's been drug war 2.0. And that's where like neoliberalism is so good at making oppression more tolerable. That's basically what like the neoliberal sort of agenda always is with capitalism. It's like yeah, we're going to give you more privileges so you can, and in the corporate world, I think a good metaphor I always use is like the corporate world's introduction of meditation into the workday. We're going to give you now 10 to 15 minutes of meditation so you'll be a more productive, you'll be more happy with your misery.
Of Karen and Chads.
And psychedelics can totally be used to do the same exact thing as coping mechanisms, as making people more well-adjusted. That's not healing.
That's like a person who thinks they're going to get smart by drinking smart water.
Psychedelics can absolutely be used to build the matrix at a whole new level. And so this is why we need to slow down. Because if we actually are talking about healing, we need cultural, social regeneration. It's not just about a new health and wellness boon with psychedelic mushroom therapy. It's just not.
I mean, I've experienced personally with both. I have a PTSD that just nothing would treat. I'd been on things for years, like all sorts of medications with horrible side effects, right?
Right.
And my brother was a casualty kind of the drug war. He got caught with MDMA, which is now finding therapeutic use and acceptance. But he got caught with, I think it was like 4 pills or 2 pills, something, recreational.
Obviously for himself.
Yeah, when he was 18, and he was never able to get a job after that. He killed himself about 1.5 years ago because he was never able to integrate.
That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
And around the same time, I was struggling very hard with my own PTSD. I was basically in a garage where I built a rainforest and a tissue culture lab.
Absolutely
and was hiding from the world, during COVID, watching everything kind of burn.
That's a good strategy.
And my brother dying and taking mushrooms for the first time in 20 years snapped me out of it and brought me to a quality of life I've never had before. I found it empirically because, I was not, I started very, low dosage to try to find it, and then I found my effective dose, and then later on when I kind of had regained the ability to think linearly to some degree, I found that I was able to look at the research and calculate it, because when I was all dysregulated before I tried the mushrooms, I read the research, but I couldn't make sense of it because I was just all over the place.
Opposite for me. I would take the mushrooms and it would not make sense to me. I'd be like, oh my, it made so much more sense before the mushrooms.
That's what I was going to ask is how do you feel, Andrew, when you were going through, that is just so terrible and I'm so sorry. But to have to go through something that heavy, and then when you're doing psychedelics, how a pain or whatever you're combating can be escalated as well. How do you feel about?
Well, I started at a low a dose low enough. I didn't have anybody guiding me. I had a friend that's an old soldier, and he just keeps mushrooms on hand. And when people are struggling, he's like, "Here you go," if he needs them. Mm-hmm. And so he gave me some, and so I started taking 1/4 gram at a time, and then I worked up to, I don't remember what it was exactly, but in between 1/4 gram and 1/2 gram. And then later, through the research, I was able to find that was roughly, or unless I did the math wrong, roughly about what the research found was the effective dose when you calculate the amount of, psilocybin and psilocin and the tissue, I guess.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it worked.
Yeah.
Yay. Fuck the drug war. Let's dismantle that shit.
Yeah. That's a great testament. And there's, all of the reported use, except for the little bit of clinical research that Johns Hopkins and other universities like that have done, has been people like us and just people eating mushrooms and having psychedelic experiences in their communities. And there's risks, but largely a lot of the benefits, which I think there are far more cases of people having positive experiences than negative, and an overall positive impact in their lives. I feel like I would be dead. I wouldn't be alive right now without mushrooms. I know it. And so, we don't need, clearly, a medical therapeutic industry. We need to empower the people who are already doing this work, and we should look to leadership. Like there are people who have been really devoting themselves to carrying medicine, right? But no one's an expert, right? And there's no real authority here. The community, the people, ourselves, we're the authority, and we really need to reclaim that if this is going to go down well.
Cannabis translation.
Thank you.
Back when the industry was in 2010, right after we had framework here in Colorado, they didn't allow people with felony cannabis convictions to be involved at first.
At all.
Shout outs to
You
You couldn't even have
You could
a
at first, but then you could. Then they pulled it back.
Yeah.
Because there was a moment in time where you could.
That was this was
2009 or something like that.
It
No,
was
the
could still get
MMED
MMA
was the
to do it.
first one, and they started in 2012, but you didn't get your first round of badges unless you were scheduled until like
Correct.
roughly 2013.
It was when you could still have a medical card back in 2010 printed on a little shittly piece of paper filled out and
Purple one?
notarized.
The purple paper or the?
This was the
That was nice.
the purple card was the first thing.
That was ugly. I
The red one.
The red card, sorry,
No,
the
red card was
Big ass
first,
red
and then the
card?
purple
Yeah.
when the first came, the letters fell off.
Those are sweet.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I remember
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I had
Just
that.
scrape
I was
off.
like, what? These letters just I was like, because then you go, dude, you know the letters scrape off? And they go, no, they don't. Oh, yeah. Oh, they do. And I was like, yeah, just do it to somebody else.
And they say you couldn't laminate it or do anything.
And you can't laminate it,
Yeah,
yeah,
you can't do
couldn't
shit
laminate.
to
So
it.
here is the Canna
hilarious.
translation. The spirit of the law, we wanted those with a knowledge base of the industry to lead the industry. Or at the very least, create an advisory pool where
You're saying
people
we
could-
want that. That's not what happened, though.
No, what I'm saying. But that's the
a good-
spirit of amendment of the medical amendment and the recreational amendment. That was the spirit of it. However, that's why at the beginning you were allowed in if you had a felony because they hadn't written the rules yet.
Right.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
by the time they started issuing the badge that you worked in the industry and
At
they
the racetrack?
I was
regulated it,
At the
19.
racetracks? Yeah,
I was
racetracks?
19, so you can't
At
legally
the dog
work in.
tracks. That's where you
Right.
got your car. That's where you got your medical. the
I don't
first one.
remember where it
That was
was.
the best. It was like, wait, where are we going? Oh, it's an abandoned dog track. And I'm like,
It's
what?
true.
Colorado would.
It was like, really? And then you got there, and it was just like everybody was like shaking their heads, like, are we really in the fucking parking lot of the dog track right now? And
so
it was like
true. And they
waiting
would
for our
raffle off.
badges, and
They
they
would
were like,
raffle
come
off.
on in and get your
What else
badge.
they
And they
gonna
were so excited to give it to you.
We
Look,
both
we're
done.
giving you
so
a
but that's
badge.
what we're talking about.
awful.
So
Funny.
if Prop 122 goes through with the ambiguity of it, the spirit would it's not 61. It didn't come across. It's not decriminalization. It's regulation.
Yeah.
And they're going to fill those blanks in
Mother
with
truckers.
whatever pads their coffers.
Yeah.
Plain and
you
simple.
know what?
Yes, and also, and then immediately it's in every operator's best interest to keep everything to themselves because it's competitive advantage. And so the
Right
silos
away,
go up
the
and-
boom, everyone
All
will be
the
growing
money,
mushrooms at
yeah.
home. Everybody.
all the energy, all the money,
It's already
everything.
happening.
No, I mean
it will, and that's why we need a better process to create a better framework that really prioritizes the protections that we need. The industry will form around that, and then the industrial part can be part of a healthy ecosystem, but it's not geared that way. Then it will be corrupted, and
We've
really,
got opportunity right now.
Well, the minute
That's
they
right.
tell you have to
That's
go
right.
here or
I'm so
you have
excited.
to do this, it's the same. It never works because then you're killing the idea of people being self-sufficient, and
Yeah.
that's.
And Matthew's being
2000
polite, but he does have a hard stop real soon. So if
Yeah.
anybody out in chat lang has any questions for him right now, get them in now because he's going to go in the next 10 minutes.
I could actually
have-
stay just a smidge longer if we wanted
just
to
for
do a
rap
little,
battle, just for
little
one
battle,
rap.
but-
Yeah, exactly, rap battle.
Oh, there's
one
a rap battle.
One
Oh.
rap battle.
Oh
If
my
only
gosh.
somebody had like instrumentals or something.
Oh, they didn't have vocals
we
on
don't have
top.
any
on their
sound guys.
phone. No, I do actually have these. Let's see.
Is this happening now?
No,
Almost.
we'll keep getting.
He's working on it.
I'm not pushing it.
He's on the side. He'll do that on the
Right.
side.
But as the
should
question,
decide.
you got
Push it
questions?
along.
If questions come in, that's great. And before that happens, I do want to say, no matter what you vote for, if you vote yes or vote no, I know it's confusing. We're in community with people who oppose and are proponents, right? Because we have to be. And people have different perspectives, and none of us have a crystal ball. I acknowledge that it's hard to really know what's the best move. We feel like we're doing our best to offer the truth from a very informed perspective, And
instrumental.
I think the biggest point to take away from this that I want to share is that no matter what you vote for, getting informed and learning about the potential corruptions here and the gray areas and all of that is really important for all of us if we actually want to make sure that where we know to even where to engage, to make sure that we put as much pressure as possible if it does pass in the implementation process where there's this vague shit, where there's these big openings for corruption. We have to be ready. And so you can be mad at us all you want if you're a proponent of the NMHA. We're doing our best to empower the people with the knowledge that they need to be informed for the vote so people can have informed consent. But if it does pass, to also be able to engage in the process. I don't know why you're mad. I really don't know why you're mad. We're doing our job.
Yeah.
So
we have one question from another one from Mike Denver.
Oh, Mike Denver has fucking questions.
He's on
Well, maybe
fire.
answer this question in general
She just came down.
of what, your knowledge of healing strains of mushrooms.
Okay.
Right now, penis envy is the fucking rage. Everyone is talking about
It's
penis
the
envy.
sparkle
right now.
babies.
penis envies.
But
So jealous of
for
your
me,
penis.
when I take them, I get very chesty.
Yeah,
What do you mean by that? Like
they
cold?
fuck me up.
Like
No,
mucus?
like I almost want to have an asthma inhaler.
I don't want to be
like,
alive for some
Actually,
reason.
Vinny.
Is this beat? Is everyone getting this beat right now?
That's hilarious.
He's all over. He's like
This
playing
isn't
ping
beat,
pong
this
over
is
there. He's
You
playing,
guys-
he's playing ping pong.
You guys are
got
just
ping pong
being
over.
weak.
No, but seriously, Mike has a really good question. Penis envy aside, can maybe because spores and culture is available everywhere right now.
Yeah.
What strains really are down the medicinal path that would help people find relief?
Well, it's kind of an impossible question.
It's a personal.
Same as weed.
It
Same
is.
as
It's
weed.
totally.
No, but
it's totally
come
personal.
on, let him
You're
answer.
asking the weed question that nobody can answer.
So no, I think I can turn this into a productive moment. There are many different strains that have different that have a different sort of like general application. Like usually like the more potent like penis envy are better for like if you really want to go deep.
Yeah.
If it's the medical therapeutic realm is in what's generally like the 2 to 4 gram dosage, right, of what is the common amount of psilocybin per like fleshy material in a mushroom. Penis envies are 2x generally.
Yep.
Albino penis envies, you don't, especially if you're dealing with one of my good friends. I won't,
He's been on the show.
Yeah, we'll say that. Best in the
He's in the
world,
chat right
best
now.
that we know of in the land,
They're
So
so
like
good.
they can, and those are my favorite. And so,
As all
but
are.
for like for micro dosing and for a more like I guess a more less variable experience, right? You're not going to be in control, right? I hope the mushrooms are teaching you that. Try to control the setting on what you want. You might find out you're not in control. You never.
You can
been the
control
whole
when
time.
you take them, and that's about it.
But you can't. But creating the set and setting and all that really matters, of course. But yeah, I think like golden teachers, like the Cambodians, Thais, like there's all these different strains, but there's all these permutations. So it does really come down to the person, their experience with the mushroom.
if
I
they're
think.
fresh, if they're dry,
And
if
also
they're-
like
there's,
this,
all
the
sorts
kind of the cultivator really matters. I can tell how much love the mushrooms
I go by how
eat
long the
receive.
rat tail is. If the rat
What
tail.
about, what about the other secondary
We love you.
metabolites
We love you.
that we haven't characterized
That's my
yet?
Say it again.
indicator.
What about the other secondary metabolites that we haven't characterized yet?
Yeah, beyond psilocybin.
Yeah, and psilocin. I mean,
absolutely.
and-
The entourage.
I was able to have coffee with a guy named Deddy Mary, who does cannabinoid research and now psilocybin research in Israel. He's a doctor, and he was saying that he has described like I think over 200 cannabinoids now. A lot of them just haven't been named yet, but he's isolated the 2 that work in concert and are responsible for sleep.
Right.
Because across all like groups, when
Yeah.
you use it, people get better sleep, and so they're non-psychoactive, right? And so he's been working on psilocybes for the last 4 years. I think.
Ask a cultivator,
And
because
so-
there probably are some answers that might there be some more general kind of application.
MTI.
But it's
MTR is our local guru now. He's grown what two flushes.
Tell me things.
You've had two old flushes.
No matter what, it's going to be down to the person and how they interact. You know, everyone's different for sure. Yeah.
Everyone likes house music after they eat yours, or what?
I want to give a shout out to Mike Denver.
Thanks, Mike Denver.
Incredibly knowledgeable on this subject the last Bar Terp Town.
Yeah.
I mean, he even spoke to somebody who had some questions on how to possibly breed. You know, he was getting down into microscopic spore isolation.
There you go.
And then being able to look at it under a microscope again afterwards to determine. And
the mycologist.
Keep it up, kid. I got to meet his parents.
Did you?
Yeah, you didn't meet him? He didn't
I met his dad. Yeah, no, I did. Yeah. I actually got to meet him too. They were cool. I thought he was killing it. I was like, man, look at you. You're killing it over here. He's like, those are my parents. I was like, oh, okay. I thought you were making big sales. They were like coming in.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I got it. Speaking of Telescopic, who just walked in the house, I got a little note from him today because of the Biden thing. He was always a proponent saying, hey, Dave, Democrats are not pro-cannabis. And I always agreed with him on that. But we wound up voting out a Republican senator who probably would have helped us on this issue. But,
God damn us. Yeah. Us.
Huh.
What else you got, MTI?
I mean, there's other questions. Do we want to just wrap up a couple more here?
No, yeah.
Do a couple more.
Okay. I don't know if anyone here will have any information on this, but is microdosing harmful for epileptics? Someone was asking, and obviously we're not a medical.
You definitely want to get all your medical advice from the Dunn show.
Yeah.
You can't. They can't. That's a rough one.
I just don't think that.
Don't even touch
Well, I think you got to be careful on all those kind of.
So wait, there is a question from Danny Danko. Would you appear on his show in 2 weeks?
Danny Danko,
actually,
love your name.
He asked a question that is kind of interesting. Do you think psychedelic mushrooms can be pickled like edible ones, and will this make them more palatable or effective?
If you like pickles, you're super into pickles.
Yeah. Some people, them, right?
Maybe he had a psychedelic experience, like his first one. He didn't have anything else to eat and just ate a bunch of pickles and associates pickles.
Such
with
a not a good
now.
texture, though.
That is.
But I
that's
why are you?
It's not the texture you're looking for.
But I would recommend. I like lemon juice, lime juice.
Yeah.
So
right.
Yeah,
so
lemon tech is a good.
That's
Lemon tech's always a good maneuver.
Yeah.
It's inside baseball with Adam
That's
Dunn.
all that the chat gang had so far. I thought that was funny. I was
Pickles. Yeah, I could just see like as the pickle starts talking to you, you're like, oh fuck, dude, I ate too many pickles.
The pickle is a job.
The honey shit is like I think with honey and stuff, it's always like interesting because honey preserves it. Just like if you're trying to preserve it, I would go with honey because honey tastes good and it's like a nice. It's a great preservative. It's gonna last a long time. It'll turn blue. It'll fucking and you can filter it out.
Oh, they'd
after.
be like pretty
Cool.
too.
Wasn't someone talking about how they used to store them in honey and they would ferment in the honey and they would all of a sudden turn into like mead type thing?
Wasn't that our rat tail
That's what
guy?
I'm talking about.
Yeah, I thought Travis was talking about that.
Yeah.
I could
Look at you blowing.
I could be completely
covers.
wrong.
I didn't. I said
No,
rat tail
He was
guy.
here on the show that said it.
He's very cop-like
Not everybody
behavior.
sees the tail.
I see.
Damn. That's fine.
You're a cop.
I'm sorry.
Dude, look at Dave.
Was Dave copping out over there?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, anyways.
okay.
Speaking of copping out,
just doing
nobody's
their job
going
for
to
him.
cop out. We
Oh, we
rap
gotta
battle.
hear this.
We got a rap
Anyways,
battle to
Go.
We have to,
Oh shit, we're gonna wrap.
No,
Wait, does everybody?
DJ.
Okay.
Spin
Is
that
everybody
shit.
ready?
It's ginger on ginger around here, buddy.
That was
Is that good white
That was
guys?
good. That was pretty good.
Pull one up. I don't know.
I watched 8 Mile and I watched 8
Are
Mile.
you still inspired? I watched 8 Mile 20 years ago. I still think
What,
I'm
you
right.
got it? No.
Do you want to go first, or do you want to go? Or do you want to go first, or do you want to go first?
Oh, man, this is good.
No,
we have to
Yeah, you go. You got
gotta
it.
flip.
Yeah, you guys gotta flip. We have to flip.
Okay.
Do we have anything to flip?
I'm gonna count for a second.
Got it.
Hit him with the 1, 2, 3.
Give
Here we go.
telescopic headphones.
2, 3.
Asymptomatic and an addict for cabbage. I'm rapping savage, this bad motherfucker coming tonight. Hitting Gladys, pippin' status, pimpin', blowing fat as a blimp. And when it come to crunching numbers, I'm simply a statistician. Listeners listening, it's a strong wink. You're pissing and nervous suckers get murdered with verbiage, slit with incisions. Playing split desurgent, swerving, slurring and perving, submerged in some urban versions of legends. I'm vegging, herbing and edging, going crazy in this COVID apocalypse. So let me rockin' it with with a full fit and pocket. Blessed are the ignorant, figuring they're invincible. Simpletons indefensible. Take this pencil, jam it through your ventricle. Ripping apart the cipher, word of my life. I'm flipping and quick to ignite the mic. And steadily hitting unsettle these kids with deadly shit that I write. I readily rock the better to sever the head of the clever competitor. Stop thinking you come out on top. The cheddar is mine, or your head get knocked. See me, I be keeping it locked like latches. Cooking up rhymes and batches. Rappers sleeping the scene. These bastards know that I'm real and they know that they actors. They only kicking irrelevant shit while I'm quick to be selling them scripts. Split is the elegant kid to be rapper. Retarded flow hard as an elephant piss.
Elephant piss? That's gushing.
That's hard flow.
Inundation of bars. An inundation of elephant piss balls. All right, ready? Mine's way shorter. Okay. Silly with the P, DMT with Billy D. Wet jumpers, no PCP inside of me. Angels dusted off my crusties with all kinds of brushes. Every feather flock together, eagles, pigeons, puffins. Force joiner like Lucas, like George, like Yoda on peyote type form, type foolish. In the mirror like I'm thick with the Q. Now it's clear, hip hop's Baba Ram Das is here, what it do? Fake shamans tricking you with the stick and move. That's the beans talking, Jack, just be true to you. Gotta stumble the mumble before you walk the talk. Everybody's tripping, some learn how to walk it off. Crazy times, walls wavy like a baby's thighs. Vibes higher than the stakes to awaken minds. But I'll never liberate without my brethren. We watch the time pass and smoke heaven for the hell of it.
Don't drop our mics.
We don't got money. The greenest thing in this room is the green screen.
Yeah, man.
Behind us.
There's no green screen. This is a
Psych.
No, we're in a room full of smoke.
You're in a
Damn.
You're in a room full of smoke.
How did Andrew's shirt get like that?
This show is
Because it's green
worldwide.
too.
It's not Andrew. He's a robot. And he didn't have enough for the arms.
I actually have an alter ego named Android who's half metal, half man, part chimpanzee.
And has no shoulders.
That was incredible, gentlemen.
Good job.
Cool.
You spoke so fast, I didn't understand most of what you said there.
Me either. I rely on that. Nobody.
He can barely roller
I
skate.
rely
That's
on
what-
no one knowing that
sense.
they're words.
If it
They're
doesn't
not-
make sense, then nobody will know.
Get high.
Yeah, but I'm
That's
52 and late.
Right.
Yeah,
Matt,
I can make a slow rollout whenever you're ready to boost me out of here. I'm
That's awesome.
good to go.
Oh yeah, you do what you gotta do, man.
we are.
How do people find you if they want to interact with you?
So the Spore.org is our website. We're Spore.org on Instagram. And I think it's like Facebook / the Spore.org. Go to our website, sign up at least for our newsletter, but check out the My Coalition page on the Spore.org website. So it's the Spore.org / My Coalition. Check out what we've been doing with this My Coalition, because the revolution is here with the people really building a psychedelic rainbow coalition. We're organizing like mycelium, because the best framework that we know of for solidarity, for mutual aid, for just getting the resources where they need to go and everything, taking care of each other, mycelium.
Right. Which is the foundation.
The foundation of rainforests, and that's what we want. So register to become a member of the My Coalition. We got somebody, Colin.
No, it's Colin. He wanted a rap battle. No, he owns Green Bros.
Colin's trying to
Oh,
battle?
you're gonna rap battle now? Oh, nice.
I've been on his
Don't make me
podcast,
stay
so
here.
I don't think he has got any rap in him at all. He's less rap-ish than me.
I can't
so.
leave the dojo until everybody's palate has been wet. If there are battles that still want to be had, they must be had.
Yeah,
Let's do this.
I would love to see this.
No, I was joking.
He's a joker. Dave's a joker. Don't ever listen to anything Dave ever
I'm
says.
done with you,
My
Dave.
gosh, I'm here to make you laugh.
I was not aware there was levity here. Sorry.
You're a cop.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
we
you.
really
Yeah,
appreciate
appreciate
the
it.
knowledge and everything
So
you've done
nice.
for the city and county of Denver.
Thank
and
you.
everything that your work is done to hopefully get the right bill passed
Yeah.
when it's time.
Right. And there's so many other people, there's so many people who are taking part in this movement. So I always just give it back to the community. I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all having me here. Everybody vote with your heart. I think your heart will tell you probably no. But, regardless, it's about community first. So this is not about, the revolution is not policy,
Sweet.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Take care.
Thank you.
Peace.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
See you soon.
And pick up the gift bag in the green room on the way
Oh
out.
yeah, on the way out. They'll take care of you on the way out.
Yeah.
Aperitifs.
We'll have security walk you out.
Yeah,
No,
security.
grab a bagel or two and some cookies.
They're non-medicated. And if you want a medicated chocolate, we got a bunch here.
If you want to catch a workout in the workout
For
room,
later.
go for it.
Take it for later.
Yeah.
See, Colin, if you were
Those are
live
weed.
in the
Those are just
studio,
weed.
They
Those
are
are just
good.
weed.
bagels,
Yeah.
cookies.
Yeah, the big chunky ones. Those are the ones.
Jamie thing.
Is there health?
Those are potent, man.
Yeah,
Just
healthy
trust me, you'll
benefits?
sleep well.
I know,
You
yeah.
will sleep really well.
Nice.
And tomorrow.
Shortest rap battle
I
in
get
history.
paid my SAG dues now.
Oh yeah.
That was. I
Good
don't
job,
see-
Colin. Good job. We heard that.
Brondo's got
He's so fast, Colin. You don't even hear his words. They're just like.
Coming in
Magic,
hot.
buddy, magic.
He did 40 verses.
I feel inspired to just start.
Welcome to
Good
the
timing.
show.
Good
That was
timing.
perfect timing.
Yeah, amazing timing, Colin.
So,
I just followed the invite.
Colin Reichert is the owner of Green Bros with a Z.
With a
And
Z.
They've sponsored the show for a long time now. And
So nice.
everything they do, made in Las Vegas.
Viva
Nothing
Las
made
Vegas.
anywhere else. The highest quality post-processing. I mean, remember when I was there, I couldn't believe that you had the rosin press by the Boulder guys.
Are we gonna all party in like a month?
Yeah. So, welcome to the show. We
We're all gonna
appreciate
be
you.
broke in a month.
Yeah, right.
It's very true.
Right. Oh, you know, we were going to. In fact, she called while we were on the show. That's when my phone started buzzing. That was Jane. So obviously, you're not listening to the show, Jane.
Are we still on?
I don't know. I would have had to answer the phone in the middle of the. We
Wow.
were going to be taking over the Rio presidential suite that she has for the Vegas Wednesday night party, but apparently
We are, or we did.
We don't know.
no, we don't know.
She's all over
Apparently, when she transferred the reservation to my name, it came over as just like a one-bedroom suite for like
So Dave.
$6,000, and I was just like, Jane, I think something went wrong there. Your reservation, I'm looking at it, says presidential suite.
Yeah.
You know, mine says standard room, but the price is the same. So maybe you can look into that. So.
Imagine if you got there and they're like, that'll be $6,500, please. And
Can
you're
I please get the done deal?
like, yeah. You need
It's
that.
the hangover. We're doing the hangover weekend.
Did you
What are we doing?
You just
Did you just get skipped?
Yeah, he did.
Thank
He
you.
skipped you.
I didn't. I handed it
Adam?
this way.
So what are you doing,
read it.
Colin?
it's
You
really-
doing deliveries? You are you out and doing your own deliveries now? Is that what's going on?
Don't tell us you're driving Uber.
No, man, I'm riding. I'm riding. Actually, sitting in a parking lot because it was the best opportunity for me. Have to come down and I get to pick up my lovely wife from work. So this is that time frame. So here I am.
Good for you.
Found the nearest
And
place.
it sounds. I think I got
was
good
nice.
good audio. Is
You
that
do.
right? You sound
It's-
all right?
And the video
You
too.
sound
Nice.
Better than
It's
many of
great.
my previous shows. Not lately, but definitely in the beginning. Shows were way worse.
You know, yeah. We strive for the best.
And we also
I
had on
need
an
it.
industry partner of yours, Jay from Dry Flower Solutions, who
Oh, did you really? Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Jay was on my podcast not too long ago. How's he doing?
he's doing great. In fact, that was another little synchronicity, finding out that, you know, he designs systems to work with your systems. That's like, you know, the best of the best
Yeah,
working with the best of the best.
We had a great time. He's a great guy. He pops up on my LinkedIn doing yoga and shit, which is cool. But
You're like, hey, a
Yeah,
little
it's weird.
less on the popping up on my
Okay.
yeah, whatever. I mean, teach his own, right? We're all just trying to make it in this world.
Yeah, and you know, it's
and do yoga.
and well,
Yoga's
J Lo does yoga.
I mean, I saw the man do some serious stuff.
course
So
you
I
do.
mean, you know, he's definitely got some skills.
Have you seen those people on the paddle boards, like that do the handstands and all those good things? The
Yeah, it'll be
girls
probably
that are
be
just
another half
busting
hour
moves?
before we
I'm
ask
like,
you about
I
your
want to be
stuff.
that girl.
Hey, you don't have to worry about it. I'm here. Yeah, I want that body. You know, not exactly, but you understand what I'm saying.
Vinny looks like he got really young. I'm sorry, I'm breaking the fourth wall here, but our sound guy looks like he just lost 20 years.
So when did
Is that right?
when did Green Bro start originally? When was his first year?
We're at 10 years now, so it was 2012. 12.
That's awesome.
That moment in time.
Yep, the perfect moment. So 12 years.
Yeah.
Started in 2012.
Yeah. So we're just hit our 10-year mark.
10-year
and,
mark. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's a couple of years here and there.
Yeah, it'll be coming up soon enough. Don't you worry.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, at this point, we're kind of wondering if we're going to make it for the next two. It's getting scary out there,
You'll make it. You'll make it.
It's a real thing.
This is something that a lot of us have been saying for a long time and been called Chicken Little. That if you don't plan on the $700, the $300 pound, depending on quality,
sure,
you're going to be in trouble.
I mean, and then again, I think you're in the right industry for that, because of course it has to be done automatically, and it can't be. You can't pay anybody. You can't pay anybody to trim weed these days. That's like
fear mongering though in the economy in general.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, then the uncertainty with this latest wave of flooding of the market. It's really created an issue within the whole ecosystem where there's a lot of money holding, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of kind of trepidation. It's hard to see where it's going to balance. No one's sure about tomorrow. Some people are hoping to get bought out. It's just kind of crazy times. I mean, we're seeing significant difference year over year. And it's like the delayed COVID hangover or something. And, but it is what it is. You just change what you do and tighten up and get going, right?
You're true. True.
I think it's sad commercially, and even the stores and things, their sales are down like 80 to 90% from COVID. And it's really sad. Like, there's a lot of companies struggling to stay in business right now and having like skeleton crews as,
well, it's because everyone had free money. They were just spending it on weed. It was like we were at a moment in time where people had free money and they spent it on weed.
Pay off my debt.
And we had hope.
Pay off credit cards.
And our industry went fucking gangbusters for a minute. And
companies had free money too. It wasn't just people. It was a lot of money out there, and I think that money's still there, but people are holding on to it because they don't know if it's going to stay. So it's weird. But the price, like I saw a billboard the other day. $64 ounces, and I shat myself. Like, what?
Well, maybe it's time to start.
We got $39. We got $39 ounces here in Denver. So,
but
that's insane, man.
You know what's crazy though is I have to buy weed like for the last
Every
3 months. Like, it's pissing me off is I've had to buy flour, and so I go to all these different stores and everybody tells me how cheap fucking weed is. Like, I'm spending $450 on an ounce of weed. I'm spending $500
but not
on an
everybody
ounce of
has a
weed.
trust fund and a mom like yours.
Well, I mean, the quality, like, there's like
she just
5 companies. I could list them actually. Is like
J-Lo, I follow you on Instagram. You literally put on the screen $1,400 in weed, and it was a single purchase.
Yeah, but people think that I'm getting like the plug, and I'm definitely not. I'm like such an advocate for connoisseur weed and like quality and paying for these companies good weed, because there is shit weed on the shelf as an option, but like you don't want to smoke that shit.
Yeah.
Like, go smoke your $64 an ounce. Like, gross.
Yeah, good weed costs like the same as it
did before.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think there's a correlation between how high gas prices are and why people aren't spending money on weed, because it literally is the $40 that was in their wallet, and they're going to the pump is gone now. I mean, it's gone.
I think you're right with that, man. I mean, that affects everything. It affects everything in the whole economy has gone up because of that. But more than that, it's when your gas prices go up to a point where it becomes a concern, like it's something you have to legitimately budgetarily configure in your mind, and you have to sacrifice somewhere else, that it's a problem. Like when it's something that's like, I know I'm going to spend $20-$30 a week or whatever, that's okay. But when you have to go, well, fuck, how much is gas going to be, and how much do I have, and what am I not going to buy? Well, I'm not going to buy weed,
right?
Or I'm just going to buy it from my friend. That's what's happening too. I mean, I've seen a lot of kids. The younger people are like, no, I got my guy. I'm like,
damn 40-year-olds.
Yeah,
you're talking about 30-year-olds, right?
I don't go to the fucking dispensaries. I don't do that crap. I just buy it from my friend. And I'm like, what are we doing, man? 1980? What's going on here? Because this is, I mean, that's how it always has been, which is cool. But
a gallon of milk is the same price a gallon of gas right now, so it really is shitty. Okay,
I wish my car ran on milk. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it doesn't.
How is it? How are the material costs for your products going in the last couple of years with
Well, that's interesting. We had a spike. The big spike year was COVID year, but we had guaranteed contracting because we had bought historically we buy a lot of material, and so we had a great year. So the year that everybody else was dying because of the big push on pricing, we had already pre-bought.
Well, luckily you're not making them out of wood because the wood was like, that was crazy. Like housing prices and shit were nuts.
But steel has come right back down. Like steel is not very far from where it was, pre-COVID. So we're not seeing that. We are seeing problems with, electronics are an issue. The things that are really starting to become a bummer are like things coming out of Europe. We don't do any Chinese stuff, but we do work with some stuff that comes, some Japanese stuff, and then we have some stuff that's coming out of Europe and specifically Germany, and they're like, "Whoa, dude, we're not spending," and we're shutting down the factory because we don't have any ability to run these things right now. So all this material is getting held up, and you're like, "Well, that's significant. That could be a big impact we don't have a lot of dependency there, but it could be a big impact if you see, through automation in not just this industry, but a lot of industries, because Germany produces a lot of high quality shit." So
yeah.
And I would say if you can get a Porsche, if you're a Porsche guy, get it now.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a while.
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
I gotta run.
Yeah.
I gotta run.
That's what I want.
Telescopic drives a Porsche, I'm sure. He could
Telly,
tell us all
Telly's
about it.
loaded.
Don't worry, we can hold down the show over here.
MTI, did you change your hat?
He just turned it around. It's like that's how hats work.
Fucking weird.
You got a front and a back. Like,
I'm sorry. I support the cause, but it just doesn't.
She's breaking the fourth wall. We're good at that.
So sorry.
So, what's new on the horizon for your company right now, especially with MJ BizCon coming up?
Big Rager going. We got a big Rager.
What do we got? What do we got going on?
Yeah, so we're sponsoring the Grow Off Jam, so it's going to be at our shop. So we're going to have like 600 people over there. That's going to be pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
When's that going to be?
That's the day before. So we're not doing it. We just don't have a big enough group to do anything outside of that, like during the regular show, because everybody on the company has to work the floor because it's gets tight around there. But so the day before, we're going to have host the big Grow Off party. I can send you details on that. I don't know all about it, but and then we're not really like this year's kind of a different year. We usually come out with something new and cool, and this year we're bringing something that's definitely new and definitely cool, but it's been out for a while. We've been working on it for about 3.5 years with a partner company, and so we're pretty excited about it. But it's not going to be like our traditional reveal type of stuff. It's kind of a significant game-changing piece of equipment. So we're excited.
Well, let us know right now. Nobody's listening. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, as long as nobody's hearing
just between us.
Definitely, we jumped into the pre-roll game, which is a game that I was wanting to get into for a long time. And there's a lot of companies obviously in there, and they all make these really cool looking machines, but none of them know how to actually roll joints or make joints. And so we got together with a company that's been doing packaging for 35 years. We applied cannabis knowledge, they applied packaging and automation knowledge, and we came up with a machine that'll give you absolutely perfect cones. And it also stuffs them with 3 mil particle size, so you're getting real actual grind, not powder. So you get good draw all the way through the product. It's a great smoke from top to bottom. They're consistent. I mean, we're like 0.012 in air draw through these cones from cone to cone to cone to cone, whereas most cones are anywhere from 0.1 to 0.3 in the amount of
you get those ones that are just like incapable to even smoke. You're like, what the fuck is going on here?
I was gonna say most
Turn your
pre-rolls are great
cheeks
until you try
inside
to smoke.
out.
Yeah, I hate when people. It's like, what is he thinking, dude? It's like dust in there or something. It's like,
It's dust. Well, so they have to do that. So with a vibrating machine, you have to have dust because the dust is what packs the crutch, right? Because it gets so tight down there, you can't pack in there, right? So, and if you get bigger particles and you overpack, then you get other problems.
then you get it all floppy where it's all floppy woppy.
Right,
Or-
right. So you want the
HR doesn't
Or
want
your
us talking about that.
Your joint breathes, or it's like, you're like, what is going on here? That's no good.
or it runs down the side and then jumps to the other side, and you're like, what why is it
Yeah.
burning like that? For sure.
So, is it,
Yeah.
so are you using, so it's not using the vibration? Is it like a centrifugal deal, like the Mountain High?
No.
That was like
that
was like having a carnival ride in your house. You're like, what
yeah,
the fuck
make
is
you
going
sick
on
while you're
here?
watching it.
You're
Yeah.
like,
I can't even. I'm at that point in my life where I can't even watch those things. I get dizzy.
Arthur was a good friend of mine, and I used to laugh because he was like, just that's all his life was selling that machine to people, and people would get it, and it'd be like, then they'd be strapped, and they'd be like, dude, thing's huge. Yeah.
It's a pretty interesting machine. The first time I saw one, I was a little intimidated by it because I thought it might just fall apart. Start throwing shit everywhere, like a carnival ride, you know.
It literally, no, it's literally what it was. It was like baby carnival ride in your house.
Yeah,
whipping joints around, you know, you're like
whipping shit around at
kind of
overthink.
Yeah, I was like, they overthought this one a little bit.
Yeah, so this machine has we pack in 2 different locations with 2 different packing mechanisms because there's 2 different areas of the cone that have to be packed. There's the lower area, obviously, and then the upper area, and they need different attention. We use a 3 millimeter particle size, so we have a grinder. We developed a grinder that destems flour and grind and mills it to the perfect size. There's no heat generated, no metal to metal contact. It's absolutely makes perfect particles. We use that to prep the material. And what you get is, just an absolute spot on consistent product from cone to cone to cone to cone to cone. I mean,
it's pretty funny how the pre-roll industry got huge to it. Like really, like it's kind of like how the edible thing happened to. It was like, for a minute, it was like edibles, whatever. Then all of a sudden, edibles, like out here, at least in Colorado, became huge. And then with pre-rolls, I think like anybody who's a real smoker hates pre-rolls because it's just like, why? You're gonna roll your own weed, that's. But on a consumer level, when you start looking at the numbers of people out there that can't roll joints. J-Lo. But they're out there. But there's tons of people who can't roll good joints. And then, of course, they get intimidated by cones, which is actually stupid because cones are even easier to roll than, like, bad American-style floppy, shitty joints that people roll. Because there's a process.
Thing is, too, like, most of the ones that you get off the shelf are shit because, they've been put through either people who don't know how to do it did it, or you got machines that don't know how to do it doing it, and your experience
or people who don't know running machines.
So your experience is kind of crap, and you're like, oh, wow, I just spent $15 on that thing, and you end up taking it apart and rolling it up into another paper or something. But it's always like that end cap deal, right? Like you're at 7-Eleven and you go, oh, look, there's a fucking blunt wrap, I'll buy that type of deal. That's
now you're talking her language. So look at her, she got all excited.
Here is the consumer. Here's a consumer complaint for pre-rolls in general, and maybe you can resolve this.
Dave's a professional complainer too.
Because I just rolled a joint, and I'm thinking to myself, what do I really enjoy about this? And what I enjoy is I just ground that up, just like I put pepper on my eggs. It's volatile. Right?
It's like coffee. It's like you don't want someone else making you
It's why you grind coffee right when you're going to drink it. So I think what needs to go hand in hand with your pre-rolling machine is the pre-roll package. Something that is like the way 14er has a nitrogen can. And timing is everything. To be able to say that within X number of seconds of this being ground, put into the
seconds,
well, whatever it is, minutes or however it would work.
Fucking Dave,
depends on the temperature, Dave. But you're right on point, man. It's absolutely. You can absolutely destroy the whole experience by having the temperature too high, or you let it sit too long in the system, and you got off gas basically, and you lose all that terpene value. It's absolutely essential that you do things the right way, and it's absolute. Like, you would not sit down at a table with your friends and fucking bust out a tray of weed that you let sit on the counter for fucking 6 days and go, hey, let's roll it up.
Colorado is like 6 minutes. You can't leave it out here. It's fucking shit dries up so fast. It's crazy.
Vegas is like that too. Yeah. I mean, you got like 30 seconds
You're like,
of run
take it
time.
out. You take what you need, put the rest back in. Otherwise, that shit's fucked. Yeah.
I've been in.
So, I mean, but this is the thing. Like, connoisseurs understand things differently than consumers, and we have a disconnect. And I think the disconnect is that there is a better way, and there's a better way to enjoy weed all the way around. I mean, if it's getting it properly cured, properly manicured, properly packed or properly processed. All those things mean very different, different quality of experience when it comes to weed. It's not just that you had a great cultivar and you did a great job of growing it. That's good. But there's a whole part of processing that people just take for granted. And they go, oh, I'll just fucking throw it in there. I'll do this. And they beat the shit out of it. And at the end of the day, they have a product that they spend a lot of time to make, and then they ruin it in the post process. So we don't do that. We're all about, giving you the best quality that you can get. That's the point of it.
Yeah, I've seen that be a problem in a lot of places. Just they get great product up to curing, which is like where it gets, kind of a lot harder, or at least a lot different,
Space.
Well, right, because how many people know how to do that?
And it really depends on it's being organized. What was the guy's name again with the thing with the dry tech guy?
Jay.
Yeah, like his style, you could tell it's like somebody who thought about it. And when we had him on the show, we were saying how many people put all their energy into the grow, but when it comes to the dry, they're sort of I'll just take a corner over here, or I'll take an old tent. And you're like, dude, what are you talking about? You have a controlled fucking area to do this. You can't be all just stick it in the corner.
When I first got to Colorado, I was out slinging trim machines door to door, and these guys were taking me into their grows, and I was stunned by these grows, man. They had this mechanism for growing cannabis, and they were pulling down these plants every day, and they had this whole system, and it was massive productivity, and it was so cool. And I'm like, oh, where do you dry it? And they're like, well, we didn't think about that before, so we just dry it on top of that room right there. I'm like, that's 3 feet. Yeah, we have to crawl in there and hang our weed in there. I'm like, fucking really?
Yeah. And in Colorado, the shit, by the time you've hung it up, it's already dry. So you're like, all right, take it down now.
$14 million worth of growing space, and you have a fucking an attic that you hang shit in? You're crazy, man.
Yeah.
I got some hangers for you. Does anybody, I have some used hangers. I'm wondering if there's a market for them right now.
I won't say the company, but I had to work in this.
I'm not going. I ain't going anywhere near that. Hanger jokes.
Check out Secondhand Harvest if you have equipment to sell.
What is that? Secondhand Harvest. Mark, get that up there.
Yeah.
Look at
Finally, a used equipment site you can post used equipment on.
Get your russet mites here, right here, fresh.
That's right.
They'll come crawling out of the lights and just straight onto your plants.
Right, straight. Yeah, we
them
get
up.
some good cross breeding.
Wake them up. Wake them up. A little heat, and they'll be ready to rock.
So that's an interesting market sector you're getting into, pre-rolls. I can see exactly why it would.
It fits.
Do that.
No, it fits perfect.
It's part of what you do with the plant afterwards.
And you're trying to.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You need to hook it up straight to the trimmer.
Yeah,
so it's it's trimming, it just goes right into the machine.
Yeah, you say that, and that's exactly where we're at.
Your dream.
Putting the grinder at the top of the machine, and so you just kind of feed as you go. So you're not overfeeding and leaving material. Now, portion's still in development, but that's where we're headed for sure.
Tell that to Mark, our sound guy, who's laughing his ass off at me when I said seconds after. See, you would have a count on this, from the hopper
I'm telling you, man,
to the grinder.
Listen, if you can trim your weed and process your weed at 55 degrees, you got lots of time. But if you're above 55 degrees, your time is ticking down, and if you're at 70 degrees, you just don't have any time. Once you start breaking that down, all the terpenes just run away. And that's one of the big things about barrel style trimmers and what other companies do. They just spin shit around. It's hot. It's just making all this fucking violence, and all your terpenes just go float out the window.
Stop the violence.
Stop the violence.
It is violence, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
no, really.
That was such a good description.
You should co-opt hashtag stop the violence and bring it to shitty trimmers. It should be
I call them barrel bandits. That's my new term for them.
Friends don't let friends use shitty trimmers.
Oh my God, we will market the shit out of it. We will take it to places.
Thank you for saying that, J-Lo, because before, we're not cutting them off right now, but, it's time to renew that sponsorship of the show. So
that must be why I'm here.
No. It was just it was really just to get the 215 DT shipped to now that we have a location now. No, it was just
Hey,
was to catch up, man.
We came up with something new, too. I got to get that to you. I have a sick one that has pot leaves all over. It's fucking really
We'll take
cool.
it.
You'll get it. I'll send it to you. But we came up with a bucket trimmer too for your home growers. Because,
Tell us about that.
Oh yeah.
It's just a bucket, dude. It's a bucket with one of our trimmers built in it, but it doesn't have a motor. You use a drill, so you just connect your little Makita or whatever to
that's
it.
funny.
I
like that.
It's
fucking
classic,
MacGyver.
dude. It's so simple.
Well,
Yeah.
well, you know what's funny is I was
Yeah.
saying,
Super
like,
cool.
I was looking back on my photos, and I think it was in 2016. I got one of your trimmers from a friend, and I was using it, and I was like, "What? I wonder what the fuck's going on inside this thing?" So I open it up, and I look, and I go, "Wah wah wah." It's just a fucking little. That's it. I was like, so simple. I was like, well, and I even took a photo of it, and I was like, well, it doesn't. It's like like you were saying about German. I was like, this looks like some German shit right here. It was like not Japanese built at all. Not like 50,000 transistors. It was like one motor.
No.
2 wires, and it came up to the switch that was at the top, and I was like, "There's nothing hidden. There's nothing hidden in here." Or, I was like, "Well,
Nope.
Least
No
possible
secret
things
sauce,
that can
buddy.
fail too.
no, it's
Yeah.
pretty basic." So that's, I mean, so if you have to replace that, whatever was in there with a drill, that's fucking perfect because it's definitely got more going on in a drill than that thing had.
That's
inside
so
that
cool.
motor, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's
That
like-
is so cool. What's
The
it called?
trimming is in the blade design. It's called the bucket trimmer.
Can you pull up a picture?
We're doing it only through the website right now, and it's only $320. I mean,
Oh.
we felt like, there's a whole segment now, which is interesting. I think that a lot more people are
when
really
you say
pushing
bucket,
back
is it a
and-
plastic
and growing
bucket
their own.
or is it
5-gallon
Homer?
Yeah,
bucket.
it's like a Home Depot bucket. It
Okay.
comes in a 5-gallon bucket.
You should make
has
a high-end version and do a stainless bucket that fits on it that looks dope. You know
With
what I mean?
Adam's picture on
No,
it.
just make like a high-end version, like the baller one for $500.
I make a lot of high-end version ones. That's about like the Mini M. That's a good trimmer.
a
That's
mini
$5,000
mini
trimmer.
baller.
Damn.
No, I like it. That's a
That's
great.
We make
awesome.
high-end ones too.
It's also like
Can I
a.
find it?
It's
is
like a
great.
Homer.
No,
It's like
guys.
the It's like the vacuum attachment that you get for the bucket, which
The bucket head.
bucket head, which I always thought was fucking genius.
It's
I was
the
like,
Flowbee of trimmers.
It is.
Hey, Colin,
there already
where
was
on the website Mark is having trouble finding?
I found it.
he
If
found
you go to
it.
product,
Telly
you
found
found
it.
it. Oh
You
yeah,
can
all right.
start
Sorry,
paying.
man.
But get him on the
You need
payroll.
a job,
Oh.
Telly?
Know how to use
Get
the
him on the
web.
payroll,
Nice.
dude.
I like it.
Yeah, I'll take
And
a
then you
job.
just attach the drill
You're
right
hired.
there.
Yeah, there's a little.
You don't really
there's
get
a
paid,
little
but,
post that
you
comes
know.
out of it. Yeah.
You get some free weed,
Can I
free weed
smoke
and a gram
some
of
Minnie's hash while
Apothecary.
he's gone?
Oh yeah. Or
Oh,
you can
yes,
smoke some
it's
of mine, whatever you
expected.
wanted to. Either. Yeah.
That's awesome. The Harvard. If I had better vision,
You
I'd
see
be
the
able to
top
read
of that thing?
Yeah.
The top of that thing is a bucker too. So you take, if you don't put the trimming contraption in the top, you can use the top as a bucker, and you can pre-buck with that. So those little holes
That's awesome.
you
So you
kind of use
pull it
as a
backwards,
bucker
yeah.
stripper.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we're trying
I like it.
to
That's
help our
awesome.
brothers out there.
It's
and sisters.
beautiful. Oh.
What's a bucker?
Oh, shut the hell
Oh,
up.
Why
see now,
did you
Mark.
say- Did you
Buck
see
your
it in
plants,
Dave's face?
Buck your weed. Buck the piece. Take off the buds. So it's like bucking.
Oh, I didn't know that was the
Oh, my
word for
God.
You
that.
buck it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's classic.
Some
Okay, we have to
whatever, dude.
educate these kids.
You put the stem in
They
it.
clearly have never.
Everybody should spend some time.
He only has
in the
10
grow
jobs, so
room, man.
like he doesn't have enough.
Bucking is not one of those jobs.
Yeah.
Never
Bucking is
buck.
not one of those
Yeah,
jobs, but
Actually,
maybe now.
Why don't you come over
Yeah,
to my house?
I was about to say.
Because it's
probably-
about time.
It's about that time. Yes, I
I'll
figured.
show
I'm
you
sure
what
I could fucking point you in the right direction. Get you plenty of training.
Oh my
Mother
goodness.
bucking.
So I take it from what you said earlier, you're gonna go, full hard on. No, that didn't sound.
hard on, full hard on.
Thank you.
You're gonna go full on for MJ BizCon, like your
I mean, we're
booth
not
and
really
everything.
spending. We don't know what's going to happen.
He
we
said
we got
no.
a kind
He
of
said
a
he's
small
not
booth
doing
this
Oh,
year.
okay. No, but he said everybody had to work those next few days. That's why I was doing it the day before.
It's just, well, we listen. We had to. We're down. We're like cannabis industry's down 80 points. We're down.
They're down to buckets, dude. They're down. They're reduced to
We're
buckets.
down.
They have reduced the entire company to buckets now. It's like fuck it.
That's what's going
Fuck
on,
it.
man.
We're doing buckets.
Hey,
but that's
as long as the lights are on, we're good.
So maybe we established that done deal for everybody who watches the show for Green Bros, because some of your products are, commercial products are high end, are expensive. So we had it at 5%, wondering if maybe for this $320 bucket, I can power to the people, see if we can get a promo code and see how many we can get sold for.
Yeah. I should have been more prepared. We can definitely, we can just now you got to make me work. God dang it.
That's
we can definitely do that. We can definitely do a 10% easy on that. For your guys. We have a way to hook it up, but I gotta call my marketing person to get a code, but it would be done.
Done deal.
It
would be done deal.
Our number 2 fan, Rosendogs, who is heavily involved in the legal New York market, actually, after watching the show, went and purchased a Green Bros 215 DT trimmer, and he's using them at his grow.
Now I need to rent it.
I think he's even getting more for the shop.
Oh,
it's a great machine. Did he get a Model M Lite, or did he get a DT?
Whatever it is, he's made it really dirty and disgusting right now. You wouldn't want to see it. That's all I can say. Because we know if he's had it for how long? Oh my God, it must be just
like 4 months.
I have machines that are still running that have been out there for the whole 10 years I've been in business.
Think all the food he got on it. Just the food alone. He's smeared all over it while he's trying to do it.
That's so wrong. This man kept
McDonald's
housed us in his home, in his very clean home, where his wife lived.
He would check in with from the drive-thru at McDonald's just to piss us off, just to be on the show. Like, what are you doing at McDonald's? Like, you want something?
Back to Cullen and Green Bros and the amazing.
Hey, so you're gonna have to text me what you want that code to be so you can put it up.
Oh, it's done deal.
It's always done deal.
That's what I was saying. Done deal.
I'll text it to you.
We'll make sure it's written out nice and clean.
And you have to make sure they understand it's the done deal for Adam Dunn, the geneticist and cannabis and hemp guru, not the baseball player.
Oh yeah, it's not for him.
Even though it's spelled the same, the intention has to be there correctly.
Yes.
So anything else besides the bucket? You got the joint roller.
Fun, man. I mean, we're excited. We put it out on social and got a lot of people giving us love for it because like no one's really paying attention to the home grower and we thought, well, why not? So we did that, and we did a grinder last year, which is like it's pretty magnificent. But the focus is going to be. I mean, we have some automation stuff too. I mean, literally, like for the big boys, we have a centralized control unit that you can run all of my machines from a remote location. So it has video feeds
from the pool.
And
floating in the pool. Let me just roll some joints over here.
From the car.
Let me hook up the grinder.
Yeah. Just whatever, man.
Are you going to make a smaller version of the joint roller for all the Karens and Chads out there that need it?
Yeah.
Dave?
I
roll my own, fucker. Jesus
I think I'd love to, but the problem is that when you put that kind of tech in there, you're well over $50,000, and I'm not sure you're going to get too many
Karens and Chads. They'll just use that little handheld roller thing and roll it around. All right, I get it.
Well,
I mean,
it's for the big boys.
Yeah.
If you'll be the first to know, though, I promise you.
Thank you. Well, we didn't know anything about the bucket or the joint roller.
No, that was good. That was
all
great. New fresh stuff.
A whole lot of home growers' friends are gonna thank you for this bucket. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the thing I hated about it. I always hated trimming. Like that was.
But wait a second. This is a good thing.
I didn't like the experience. It was so much work. It took forever.
Well, it used to be a situation where you could sort of like, hey, okay, come on over and make some food and everything. Now it's like, fucking no, this is way too expensive. You guys you're eating too much. You're going too slow. You're cutting it too. So yeah.
But wait, there's a price now.
Now, if I trim weed, I break out in hives.
Oh yeah, you've been using that one for
that's a good excuse.
9 years, I think.
You don't want to
that's when I first heard you say.
You don't want to see me.
I learned that one right after my first trimming day.
Yeah. Everybody tries to use that one, but there's going to be a market here because we have a friend in the psilocybin cultivation side who grows some amazing mushrooms. People are competing now to get access to them and saying, "I'll take them uncleaned, with the substrate still on the bottom." Because you would normally have to pay someone, just like they're even though people volunteer their time for Lord Adam to come trim. Most people have to pay that shit.
They never do. They never come back. They always. That's it. They're like, hey.
That's the fact.
But think about it. If
I've been trying to get Mark there for fucking years.
That was not a party. I'm never coming back. That was not
trim
a party.
parties.
Oh, he likes to call them that.
He says there's, yeah.
But if you had a $320 bucket, which would be less $32 after you use the Dunn deal.
Look at you, math wizard.
Then you could you don't have to necessarily, if you had a buddy who was a grower and he didn't want to have to, trim it. You just say, I'll take it like it is.
I'll bucket you.
And I'll bucket and trim it.
I used to do that. When I first invented those machines, I had two of them, and my guy used to go up to Northern California, and he'd bring down his truck full of unbucked, untrimmed weed, and I would trim it for him. And so I was running two trimmers like turntables and scratching up a mess in my garage and killing the game. I was making $100 a pound trimming his weed for him. Mm-hmm. This has been a minute, that's been a while back.
Yeah, well, they're only worth $100 now, if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's right. You're not even worth $100.
So you trim a pound, you get to keep two.
Yeah. For every pound you trim, you get to keep two. That's a deal. And I get to feed you. Oh my God, what a fucking deal!
It's like the break with these processors. You drop off 100 pounds, they keep 50 pounds. They process it themselves. I mean, it's just. What a rack! No, I'm thankful they do it because otherwise we would have like
you got one sitting right here. Don't get it. Don't blow his cover. That's his whole racket.
He's not. His cover's blown because he's covered by Colin on screen.
Oh yeah, right now it's secret. No
one can see.
No one knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah, his mic's not on either.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
No, his mic should be on.
Say something into the microphone.
It might be. It's
it's off. We don't want you. We don't want you on the show.
Yeah.
Your mic's on. Mic's on now.
Try it.
Test.
Oh,
there we
so
go.
Much better with volume, with
turn it back
sound.
off. Actually,
I turn it off.
Hey, Colin, do you do anything or have any interest in crypto or blockchain technology or anything like that?
My only interest is that I fucked up and didn't get it a long time ago.
Well,
right now it's at the bottom of the fucking. It's dive 97%.
Back at the bottom.
So you want to get in now? Get in now.
No,
I've been hearing that.
Well, next week we're gonna do a. Next week we're gonna have a crypto heavy show. So we're gonna have.
We're gonna be at a crypto event next Friday.
That's what you guys were saying.
You will too. So just
you are part of the show there, J-Lo.
Don't worry.
All right.
Yeah, so we're going to be surrounded.
Well, I was all about this Ethereum merge or whatever. Was that what just happened?
Yeah, nothing. I think my shit went up by like 10 cents or something. I was like, wow, I got like $4 extra. I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
But we are going to be at rarebloom.io at the Gaylord Hotel.
Emphasize that. What's more?
At the Gaylord Hotel. Friday and Saturday. So juvenile, Adam.
I know. That's my job. That is my job.
Is that great?
And if you're interested, you can go to their website and get a registration, enter Dunn deal. You'll
fly over here.
Get a discount.
We'll see you next week.
No, if you were in town, we'd get you a badge. We'd get you a badge.
Mike Denver, we're talking to you.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to be in town next week.
Are you?
No shit.
But I don't know if I'm going to get to Denver. Yeah, my wife and I are driving. We haven't decided if we're taking the motorcycle because I heard that there's going to be rain, and I don't like riding in the rain. So we're taking a week to go drive through the Rockies and see the color change because she's never actually seen the aspens change. So we're getting ready to leave actually tomorrow.
Oh,
so
shit.
I would actually be in Denver, but not for Friday.
Would you like us to get you
Saturday.
in touch with our #1 fan, Uncut Bush, who did exactly what you're talking about? Rode his motorcycle 1,100 miles and
it's a little chilly, though.
Regretted it. It's very cold here now.
Today it was
rain.
cold.
You could have snow at altitude.
Weather.
He was like this when he got here. He was like,
For a guy
hey
on
guys.
So I should have gone in September.
Yeah.
That
On a bike.
Yeah, well, we got backup plan. I have the truck, so we'll probably just. We're going to
tow
go
the bike,
down through
tow the bike,
Durango
leave
and-
the bike at the bottom of the hill.
Tow the bike.
And
And then when you get here, get on the bike for a little bit and then go, oh, it's fucking cold, honey.
And then you get back on the,
Fucking cold, I don't
And then get back,
back on the
truck.
trailer.
The first time I went on a trip with her, I went up to Reno. We went all the way up to Coast California, and then came up in the backside of Reno and got to Reno. and I took her to the airport. She was flying back to Vegas, and I had to take the bike back to San Diego, and it was like 40 fucking degrees. I thought I was gonna die. It was so fucking cold. I made it to a gas station, and I was freezing. I looked like a popsicle, and the guy goes, "Oh, you got about 20 more miles. You're gonna be fine."
Oh yeah, right.
20 more miles? That's a fuck ton. That's
a lot of miles.
On a bike when you're already miserable? Like,
it was miserable.
Did Lance ever tell you of the idea we came up with for the 100-pound Green Bros demonstration, which was to take 100 pounds of flour right out of the harvest and show how, when put into one of your Green Bros machines, the processing would work. How much, grade A flour came out that you were going to sell as, smokable flour. What went to pre-rolls? How did it all? What went to processing, to hash, or to different concentrate? And to just be able to show that economics so people could see, truly, in a day and age where you can go to Denver and spend $67 in an ounce, how important it is to understand those economics.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up, because to be honest with you, what people don't understand, and what we've been collecting data on, is these barrel type style trimmers are eating 20% to 40% more than what we do. So for every 100 pounds we trim, if you have 20 pounds of leaf, we're giving you right at 80 pounds of flour, and these barrel trimmers are giving you 60, 50, 40, and people don't even understand how much they're losing out of these machines. They just fucking destroy the bud. It just eats them down. I mean, I know a lot of people who could use a couple extra pounds out of their harvest, right? Like, if I could say, hey, I can give you an extra 20% on your yield by switching machines, that might be worth it. But people get attached to these other kind of deals, and they get like, oh no, it works fine.
I think your marketing director should reach out to this cat that's selling the $67 an ounce, buy 200 pounds of that cheap weed, and run it both, through the machines to show how it fucks it up, because it's so cheap.
See it. Yeah, that's great. You just ruined my whole marketing campaign for next year by letting it out early. But don't worry, Dave, it's coming.
I try.
Yeah,
I try.
I think I'm gonna have to hire you now. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh, please,
that's really
man.
Exciting. All of it.
I'll send my resume over right after the show. What? Wait, we're not. It's just us talking right now.
Dave. Yeah, Dave.
So what else? Anything? I mean, I guess I'm asking a dumb question now. If you have in the works something much bigger for when that next iteration comes, and somebody says, I need a machine that can process a ton in an hour.
Yeah. So that's what I was kind of alluding to with the management station. So I can literally stack as many machines as you need to trim as much as you want next to each other, and run them all through whatever process you want next. I have an automatic trimmer that you fill one in and you press the button, it runs your recipe, and it continuously outputs the same quality, same trim, everything product from beginning to end. It'll load itself consistently every time and unload itself. So that's how we trim party. You put your weed in the back and you walk away, and you come back and you got a bunch of trimmed weed. So we're always thinking like that. That's how we think about the future of cannabis, and especially on production scale, So we have connected them all together, and we're putting together some load cells and some data collection points, so you can actually see in real time what you're getting for your value point out of different processes, right? Because most people are missing a lot, and they don't even understand it. Oh man, that's old school, that video. That's one of my favorite. Marco did that. You remember
on your
Marco,
website.
Yeah?
We're only old school around here. We only show old school videos. We don't show anything new.
Super sick, man.
No, we did.
I was really proud of this video. It's a good one.
I love it.
Y'all got some good weed. I'm glad you immortalized that. Thank you very much. That's it. Yeah.
We often play clips, and most people don't know it's
great.
them.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. I knew it was me. Yeah.
Vinny does that to me all the time. It changes the fucking speed of it or something like that, and makes it go really fast. So I have to slow it down. And
that was
that was a good one.
I think the last time, I don't know if you knew did you know last time we were fucking with you with that one?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, just checking.
I'm not as dumb as I look. Just nearly.
So we're gonna see you in Vegas when we're there next month.
No, what do you mean? We're going to see him next week. He's
Oh no,
gonna
we're
be
gonna
in
see. Oh yeah,
Denver.
we're gonna see you next week when you're here. Sorry. Yeah, cold as fuck.
Maybe.
Hey, you know what? I do winter jackets. I do winter
You
hemp
know what?
jackets. So
Hey, guess
you
what?
need,
I tell you, they work.
you need to get here to get your jacket.
Hey,
so.
I'm
so
wearing
my
mine.
Gotta get there to
display,
get my hemp
my
jacket.
display worked.
You did it?
The guy that came in on the motorcycle,
Yeah.
he came here for jackets, bro.
Did he? Nice.
Jacket and 2 T's.
There you go. We're making sales.
Really?
We're making
Nice.
sales.
We're making sales.
Well, we're not making sales. So they're sold out.
No, she does it on Venmo or whatever
Oh,
it
so
is.
it's better.
Yeah, there's no cash.
This is amazing because you created an interesting sales marketing little
Niche.
no, it's outside it for a second. You have Colin, who lives in Las Vegas, who has absolutely no fucking need for a parka.
Yeah, you do, bro.
Except
I've lived in Vegas,
when he
bro.
comes to Colorado on his
No,
motorcycle.
no,
You don't need
you're
it.
gonna-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got to tell you,
I
there's a
lived in
couple of
Vegas.
weeks in the middle that I could use a fucking parka.
Oh yeah, when it's 70 degrees,
No,
right?
it gets
65.
cold.
Desert cold.
It is
He's not in
cold.
San Diego. He's not in
when
San
it's
Diego.
usually like
He's not in San
100,
He's in
man,
Vegas.
65 is cold.
Yeah, it gets cold.
He was
It's cold.
65.
It feels different.
It was 42 here this morning.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
it was
goodness.
cold. Well, we are looking forward to if we hopefully will see you next weekend, but if not, in Vegas
I'll be
because
here. Come by.
Yeah, you'll see me in Vegas for sure. But I definitely got to check out. You got to send me a link so I can check out this parka jam because that sounds
we will.
like something I need to
We'll be
check
here.
out.
We got you.
yeah, we're not even going to send you to the website. We want to make you buy it.
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
have to
we
come
wanna check
here.
it out.
yeah.
It's like a warm hug.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, look for
Nice.
the big red building that looks like it
Shout
might
out
have
to
been
Fresh
Taco Loco or Defunct
Taco
Coffee Shop or
Loco?
something. I don't know. It looks
Really?
at a drive-through.
That's
Yeah.
what you got to say first.
What are you talking about?
This guy and his lame description.
There's a church, okay? That's what's
this was
closest.
a church?
This was
There's-
supposed to be,
It's
it
a
was,
church.
No,
It's
I was
across the street
saying
from
what
a
the
church.
building looked like before it became this amazing studio.
Oh yeah, before
Taco
it was,
Loco is
no,
a
it was
terrible
going to
fucking
be
example.
It has a
Amore-
drive-through.
It was going to be an Amore pizza.
Yeah,
Hey.
much
Top that.
better example.
Top that.
That's fucked,
See?
man. That's
How-
fucked
how
up.
fucked up is
I've
that?
not been
That's
to
fucked up.
Colorado
We
in a long
stopped it
time.
No,
from
no, no.
becoming a bad Amore pizza.
Amore Pizza is the pizza place that I basically grew up at.
I would never eat pizza here.
But
He
they-
roller
there's-
skated there as a boy.
He roller skated. as a-
Sorry.
Mark's on fire tonight. Smart mouth over here. He's on fire. Anyway, we're boring Colin. He's like, how do I get off this?
He's like,
fucking
my wife's
show?"
coming any second. All right, here she comes.
Colin has a podcast too.
There's actually action happening in the parking lot, man.
Oh yeah, you
Active-
got.
What
You're
do
gonna
you
be
got?
man on the street. Man on the street. What's
Man on
going
the
on?
street, man.
Tell us.
Man
Turn
on
the
the
camera
street.
He's not in
around.
Florida. If he was in Florida, it would be really good because you know the shit would get crazy.
Nah,
But no.
it's not as exciting as it looks. It's all good.
Oh,
It's
Vegas
over
could.
now.
Vegas could have some weirdness.
Yeah.
Vegas got weirdness.
Yeah.
We have the #1 police shootings in the country. Not this year, but last year. We had like 200,
They just said that crazy
287
kid.
police shootings.
Yeah.
And we just had a stabbing, like a fucking
280.
crazy
Yeah,
ass.
the crazy kid.
12 people were stabbed on the
That's
fucking
nuts.
strip, and two of them died.
What the
Why?
fuck?
When?
Yeah.
So
What?
these
Just
girls,
knocked out.
there's all these girls down there that take pictures. They're like the showgirls, and people take pictures with them. They charge you money to do that. It's kind of a thing. Well, some dude was spurned by them because I didn't want to pay or whatever. So he went on a little fucking flip out, and stabbed a bunch of people.
Holy fuck.
He-
Oh my God.
Yeah, they got his ass, but I mean he killed 2 people. So we have shit down there.
Yeah, just another day.
Not
on
the
the
kind of
street.
shit you want, but we do have
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you can gamble. Yay.
but you can gamble.
Multiple levels.
All the other vices are
You
available
can
as well.
smoke everywhere. I love Vegas.
No, you really
I
technically
like Vegas
can't.
because you can just walk
Yeah, I
around
always
with a drink in
have.
your hand. You can smoke on the street. It's all whatever you want to do.
Is it
Like
weed friendly?
Colorado,
Now it is.
you get like tased if you smoke a cigarette. Fucking by anybody,
Yeah.
you get fucked up.
Just
Like
look
you
at a
get a
rap
ticket,
sheet.
you get
Fort
arrested, you
Collins?
get
Fort
like
Collins?
penalized for 14
Hold on.
years. Like,
Colin doesn't know the
they
history
charge
here.
you $14.
She's been arrested more times than
Wait,
all
wait,
of us
just-
combined.
hold on,
Fucking assholes about
Yes.
smoking.
Colin, if I set the over-under at 3 for number of times J-Lo's been tased with a cigarette, would you go under or over?
Man, know what? I just don't have enough data, but
That's
it sounds
exactly
like it's
what-
been more than once. If you want to know what I'm saying.
Shit gets real out here. I just feel like.
What are we going
there
with?
I
Under or
feel-
over?
I feel so free. I'm just like, watch me
I'll
smoke
go the
this.
over, man. I'm gonna take a risk on that, Dave. I'm gonna go over.
I don't think she's ever been tased. The 9 restraining orders, but
Listen,
no tasings.
You don't know.
Have you been tased?
I was misled.
Were you tased?
I
For
mean,
fun.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
call it
What's
a
your
tase.
definition of tasing?
I stand corrected.
Adam, have you
you
been
just
tased?
got the number
no,
wrong.
have you been tased?
No,
Oh, okay.
never. Just
You have not been
Amateur
tased.
hour.
You have
For
not been
fun.
tased.
Oh my god.
Just for fun.
She looks like she really has.
I
been tased.
really think she has. Holy shit.
Hey, are you guys gonna broadcast at the MJ Biz?
that way.
Not from
hopefully.
not from MJ Biz, but from somewhere.
Somewhere.
MJ Biz
But
adjacent.
during MJ Biz.
Visit Jason.
Well, Friday
Oh.
we're live every Friday, regardless of COVID.
Or where we're
we
at.
were live during COVID
Yeah.
for all throughout. So 4:20 to 7:10.
Yeah, no random
Mountain
days
time.
off anymore.
Yeah.
No editing allowed.
Cullen,
Yeah.
you're a
He's
business
back,
owner.
though.
Can we
It's
ask
all
you a
'cause
question?
He asked me to fill in one.
You
As a
can.
business owner, would you take shit like that from your employees, even if they weren't really monetarily remunerated?
It's the longest internship
You know,
that you've
it's-
ever seen.
It's a tough one, man. It all comes down to you really like them.
Yeah,
Everybody
we do.
here is awful.
We kind of do.
Because
But
if you really like them, you'll put up with a lot of shit, man. That's how it is.
did you have to
Is that
say
how
that
you
with him
feel every
hearing
day?
it though?
Earshot.
Yeah.
I'm in earshot.
Now he knows.
I'm here.
Turn off your headphones for a second and then tell me how you really feel.
There are definitely moments when you gotta let some gentle correction, Dave.
Adam fantasizes about firing all of us.
a pay cut.
I use it as collateral. Oh, damn it.
It is the Adam
Oh,
Dunn
you
Take
show.
a
guys
dab.
fucking killing it.
Thank you so much for your time. We're actually going to talk about you right now when we do our shout outs and
Yeah, this is a-
That's
advertisements.
great, man. I will text me your code. I'll get that set up for you. Thank you so much. I appreciated it.
Yeah. Thanks for checking
Thank
in.
you.
It's fun. You guys are fun. Hopefully, we will see you again soon.
Well, come on,
No.
you got it. We'll
We
plug
get
it.
that.
You have a podcast.
Oh yeah, tell us.
What's the?
Yeah, I
address?
have I do an industry born podcast. It can be found on the Hayes Radio. It's
Oh, good old Hayes Radio.
Say hi to Andrew.
Say hi to
Callis.
Mr. Pizzicalis for us.
We love
I
we
haven't-
love him.
Yeah. I
But
haven't
we-
done any new shows in a minute because
You gotta
I've been really
be-
busy trying to keep my head above water. But there's a
It's
few of
good.
them out
It's
there.
good to take some time off from your podcast.
No, you can't. Wait, that's
No,
the problem.
because-
This is our only excuse to get away from everything.
Wow.
Don't
That
bother
was
me.
the guy I was asking you the question
only-
about talking, by the way. I mean, really, would he still be on right now, even though you really like him?
Whatever.
Wouldn't you just...
Yeah, but you guys edit. That's the difference. They would edit you out. So
Oh,
we're not
good.
allowed.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
No, we didn't edit. We just talked for an
I
hour,
edit.
right?
We
Oh, you
can't
do? You edited
I
me
edited
down?
that.
Yeah,
I
they
did your
edit down.
podcast. Holy shit.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
down to.
but I didn't edit you, man.
Okay.
It's okay.
You got 30 seconds of you now.
No, we talked for like an
30
hour.
good seconds. We got 30 good seconds, right? We're good.
Yep. And a loop of him on skates.
And we'll loop him around. Yeah, we'll just take a video of him on skates and loop him.
Nice.
Well, thanks, Colin.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you.
Talk to you
Peace.
soon, man. See you in a month.
Yeah. See you guys. Thank
All
you.
right, peace.
I party.
There you go. So,
Holy shit.
I didn't even say once. I didn't even ask him if he, any, ex strippers working at a spot, so I could make my story real. 'Cause that was my whole shtick. Was made by ex-stripper hookers, ex-strippers.
They built the factory
Straight to
where they used to walk, so we offered them jobs?
Yes, I mean I figured
Got it.
that'd be
All the girls drink. It's just
But
that I'm the one that
instead
gets caught.
It led to
Telly's like, why did I sit down here?
That's-
Telly's here. Telly's here
That's how
to
the
bring
story
us
actually went.
back to weed. Because
We're back to weed.
We talked about mushrooms
Hey,
so
should
long.
we,
Well, we did it about trimmers. Trimmers is weed.
Should we do shout outs and then
Yes.
go on to Patreon?
Yes.
Well,
Oh, I forgot about the Patreon show.
Yeah, now that's what we're
Oh, you were
really
rushing in, and now you're
thought,
like,
I'm going to get in the
fuck it.
last 5 seconds, and then now I'm stuck.
Now I'm stuck here for an hour.
No, that's a whole
Build
nother
soil.
thing.
You're getting more invisible by the ending.
855.
It's a-
kind of like
It's a talent I have, actually.
just disappearing into the. You're doing the. You're
what are
doing
the numbers for soil?
855-877-SOIL.
Yeah.
What's the numbers for soil?
Buildasoil.com.
exactly what you're talking about.
That was great.
855-87 or Yeah. Oh, God, I had to
Wow.
look. I had to
I'm
look.
distracted too.
I was looking at
Mike-
you, looking
Mike
at
Denver.
that, looking at that.
Wrong. Mike
What?
Groh said the funniest thing ever. My
Oh.
safe word is employment. I like that one.
That is good.
Anyway, buildasoil.com. You got to call them if you
That's his
want.
first chat all night.
Oh, goodness.
He's been busy policing the
I know. He
you
just came in and started doing
Yeah.
that.
So Build a Soil, you have to call them. Okay, there is no promo code. You got to call up. You got to say, "I watched that guy who used to have a beard. Tell me what I should do."
Yeah.
Now he's beardless, and I really don't know.
How's it
So I'm
feel?
calling you guys.
Someone said he looked like a dark-haired Jeffrey Dahmer.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
How do they come up with these things?
We're gonna switch
that is
seats.
so fucked up.
Shit.
I don't want to do a side by side. I don't see that. But anyway.
That's hilarious.
That's fucked up.
That's real
That's
fucked
real
up.
fucked up.
Oh,
That's fucked up that
man.
Mark brought that up.
Yeah.
He would do that.
Wow. Yeah, but you brought up the ultimate fuck up.
I'm going to
By-
start calling you Dahmer.
Making Vinny smoke again is what you did.
Oh,
Oh, you're really
no, I
going to
make
cry
me
about
smoke.
this?
I didn't do
My
I
that.
don't
fault.
even have cigarettes.
Don't blame me.
You know
Build
who
a-
doesn't make you smoke? Buildasoil.com.
Whoa,
Bringing it back
MTI, bring it back, bring it back.
This is why you keep them employed.
Yeah, that's right.
greenfarmsmed.com in Colorado Springs or Platte Valley Dispensary right across from the aquarium. You can get
HR's in the house.
oh,
We need that.
she's gonna have a cookie with numbnuts, a bagel. Wow, look at that. Careful with the knife there. That's 9 out of 10 people will cut themselves slicing a bagel.
Bagels are the
Don't
number one
jinx it.
injury in the restaurant
In
industry.
the,
Really?
So
at the E-room.
yeah, here's what you can
Because I
do.
use badass knives.
Here's what you can do.
No, it's because
The
That's like
slicer
a
thing.
grimly proud New York fact, right? You know?
Hey, Dave, what can we do?
Number
Yeah,
one.
Dave, let's
Look
go
at my
back to you,
finger.
Dave.
Why don't you head over to Platte Valley Dispensary and go to the med side? Tell you want the done deal. You're going to get an
You should be
ounce
going there and getting all your $9,000 deals.
right?
Right.
Yeah, why don't you go to Platte Valley
What the
Dispensary?
fuck am I doing? I know.
Get
You'll
some
get an
organic
ounce
grown.
of organic flour for $150.
$150.
He's got 3
You're
strains
right,
on
I
the shelf
should
right
be.
now.
Organic.
But if you're not a medical patient, you can go to the rec side
go.
and you can get 8 grams of Apothecary extracts, purple
Where
punch.
is our apothecary?
It's right here, and sitting right here. You've been smoking it all night. See,
Whatever.
In front
All
of you.
night. All night.
You can get
Smoked it. I already
8 grams
smoked
for
mine.
$80 out the door. That is
Boom.
the best deal I have heard of in
The
a long
rents
time.
was fire.
Since Vinny found that like $8 gram that one time, but it was 12 with tax. You know, this is $10 a gram for 8 grams.
Out the door.
Out the door.
Out the
Kicking you out the door. They're
door.
kicking you down the stairs.
Yeah.
No, they're not going
You got to head over
Don't
there.
want to kick people downstairs. It's not good.
All right. If
Oh,
you're
right.
also if you're not a medical member, you can go to Ozo Coffee.
But if you get
So
kicked down the stairs.
Justin just came back from Peru,
Oh,
so we should
Oh,
expect
you had it.
to
Are you
have-
going to see him? Did you see him today or did you see him
I saw him this morning.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I brought you coffee. You were sitting on
I
it.
see
You
it.
brought him coffee?
But you didn't tell
I
me.
brought 3 things of. You don't drink it.
How do you know if I do or don't drink coffee?
we know.
Because
We
you
know.
would be
You
more
just go to
Because
Starbucks.
it's
sparkier.
making coffee, grinding it,
There you go.
pouring
You
it
guys are
over, taking
assholes.
the time. But
You
it's
guys
true,
are assholes.
right?
Hey,
It's fine. Let's talk about Ozo.
OzoCoffee.com is one of our best done deals, 20% off. They form just long-term relationships with their coffee farmers, and they have the beans shipped here green, and they roast it on a 1959 roaster. It's amazing, amazing coffee.
As they ride around on unicycles, adjusting their mustache with mustache wax.
Their new logo is amazing.
In Boulder, of course. I mean, this is Boulder we're talking about.
Sounds like
While their wives do yoga. in the
Those
corner.
bikes with the
I
big
would
wheel and the
suspect
little wheel.
nothing different.
OzoCoffee.com.
And Kale runs around and plays with his friends.
Give me that patchouli.
Green Bros.
Oh, we already did Green
All right,
Bros.
good.
This is
Apothecary
delicious.
Farms.
So, this runts. This is
Runts.
what we started smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we smoked all
Doesn't
that.
the extract smell like your flour?
Does it? I hope. That'd be good.
I mean,
Oh,
that was
makes sense.
something. Well, it tastes like your flour.
This?
Yeah,
So
I
that was
got a
really
big old bucket of that. If you're into
It says
concentrates, go to
run.
Colorado and Oklahoma's concentrate-focused dispensary, Apothecary Farms. They have 3 locations here in Colorado, Pueblo, Colorado Springs, and Denver. And then we got Oklahoma. They got 5 locations there. You can get some ambrosia, which is some diamonds of sauce. They got the solventless hash oil. And also, they also just started ambrosia vessel, which is vessel. It's a disposable vape cartridge, basically, and it's made out of hemp plastic.
1 gram.
Plastic?
Yeah, hemp plastic.
It's
disposable. Big brain on
Plastic. And actually, they have a version that has solventless hash oil in it too. So head out to Apothecary Farms, get the Dunn deal, $25 a gram, and an infused joint.
I'm just saying you brought it upon yourself. He was fine until you made him all spicy by comparing him to Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, yeah, you know I'm going to get spicy.
God, that's such a good one.
It's pretty good.
Never look at me the same.
Okay, how about we go to Numbnuts?
Numbnutsco.com.
Delicious.
Great.
Numbnutsco.com. Enter Dunn deal at checkout. You get, I think it's 15% off your peanut butter. Might be 20.
CC just slaps him on a bagel.
Yep. So
nice.
It's CBD peanut butter can be shipped anywhere in the country, even to Hawaii. He can ship it to Canada as well. But the THC, 1,000 milligram medicated peanut butter, got to be a medical patient. You can find it at a ton of medical dispensaries here in Colorado.
Look around.
Amazing product.
Numbnutsco.com.
God. How did I not?
I was tempted to put a little bit of that into my mousetrap thing because I got a live one, you know. Live mousetrap.
Yeah.
So check out what we have
just to
from
see if he
14
would be
or
like
20.
crashed out in the morning, like
need
instead of being all running around like
Cakes
"Give me
and
more food."
pies.
Drago.
Drago?
This shit
That's the rosin from 14.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that one, the giggles I got last week was good.
You were giggling around. This is my favorite.
It's
This is my
really-
jam lately.
I
So
got,
head
I
over
got
to
cakes and
14.
pies this week.
We got one of those
Cakes
too.
and pies is my favorite lately.
That's what I've heard, but I have not.
Head over to 14er. Tell
wish
him you
you
watch the
could-
show. Tell him you watch the show. You'll walk out with a bunch of papers, lighters. They have coffee mugs, whatnot. They
What if you
make.
tell them you were on
That's
the show?
why people go there is to get their coffee
All right,
mugs.
I don't know. For all
No
I
one's paying
know,
attention anymore. No one cares.
This is why I go.
This is why I go.
maybe
Yeah,
you talk
just
your way
to-
into a discount. Actually, they have just recently, 2 weeks now, you can actually walk in and shop.
It's true. It's nice.
Yeah, it's not only
Actually
pre-order
walk
anymore.
in
Well, because they were pre-order only
crazy.
during COVID.
I
Forever.
know.
Okay, so totally
It's
open.
been a long time like that. We're like that.
The truth is on the shelf right now.
The
So
truth
if you just
is on
wanted
the
to
shelf.
try a strain,
That even makes sense.
if you wanted to try a strain that is their flagship strain. That is what, when I walked in 2010, that was the strain.
It's true.
Try the truth.
Do you feel?
You can try the Dahmer deal too. We don't know if that'll
We
work.
have a Dahmer.
That will
Dahmer
not
got
work.
it done, bro.
Oh my God! That is so bad. It's too soon. Too soon. Holy cow!
You know who else gets it done is Fishhead Farms. Fish shit.
Now we're going to have to set a line on whether or not Adam comes in with, blonde hair next week.
Yeah.
Funny.
and the big 80s glasses.
Go to fishheadfarms.com or at
He has like
Fish
a real
Shit on-
straight hair though.
Yeah.
Used to be our biggest Dunn deal. It's 25% off if you enter Dunn deal at checkout.
So
I had some shipped to one of the employees at
Not
14.
to Cheddar Bob. That's
Definitely not
out.
Cheddar Bob.
It wasn't Cheddar Bob, right?
Definitely not.
Obviously
No,
not.
definitely
No,
not.
Definitely not him.
No, I told him I'd have him a signed copy of Danko's book sent to him.
And that's
And that never happened.
Wow.
Did that ever happen? No.
Today,
He's
I
like-
just said that to him. He
he's
said,
like-
I don't want it.
I don't want Danko's autograph. That's what he said.
Yeah.
That was his words.
Come on, Cheddar Bob.
25% off.
You don't even know. You think now you don't want it.
definitely.
Amazing
When
product.
he's the old guy in the room. you're like,
Prolific.
I got one of his
I
books.
got the
originally
stories.
signed.
Fishheadfarms.com.
Fishheadfarms.com.
Get some fish shit.
God damn it.
Boom.
Boom.
We almost
Bada bang, bada boom.
Terp wipes.
We'll have,
Terp wipes.
we have a case arriving tomorrow. Go to terpwipes.com/Dundeal. No promo
The
code.
invisible guy's going to show you.
terpwipes.com/Dundeal.
Hey, hold it in front of you.
Get a subscription.
Oh,
Look at-
yeah.
look at- oh, look.
It's
look.
floating.
It's floating.
that
sounds like a hot item.
All right. Cultured biologics.
Oh, shit.
Oh, there's the hot item.
Culture biologics, carbon-based
get it.
nutrients coming out of right here in Colorado. taken it to from actually all the weed we're smoking today was grown with nothing but cultured biologics.
I can taste it.
And no, you cannot taste it. That's the whole point. God damn it! You tasting weed.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I could taste its
knew.
quality.
You knew what I was
I
coming
could
at.
taste how delicious it was.
You're not supposed to taste
That's
it.
attempted save right there.
reverse.
No, she
No, but
added
it is-
the quality.
No, but that is
You guys don't
the
know?
first thing. It's funny when this is my third round. The first round didn't really count because it was kind of like halfway through a crop, so I didn't really count that one. But then this last round, CC, same. Like she
Boom.
was like,
That's the best weed.
"Oh my
you've
god,
ever
this is the
had.
best
That's
weed you
my
ever grew,"
favorite.
and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
Well,
And then
but
I had to
try
agree.
it.
I had to agree it was the best. I was like, "Wait a minute, you're
Like
right."
every crop since
That's what I mean.
COVID has
Smell
gotten
this.
better.
Right.
Like for sure.
Yeah, it's because you were working with all the right people. So every time we adjust with these people, like and cultured, being the major adjustment right now because it's the base of everything what we're doing. It is just it burns great, it tastes great. The terps are there, and if you've been watching on Patreon, you've been seeing the results. And you'll see some more today. See some more today. But yeah, check them out, culturebiologics.com, and one day soon.
That's right.
We're gonna have a full cultured mega fest going on.
Mega Fest.
Mega fest.
Boom, boom.
Culturebiologics.com with the next.
That's right.
Boom, boom, Malco the light.
Last week we gave away a light.
Hey, can you throw in a quick stash Logics before we get to Illuminar?
Oh, Logics to Logics.
Because they're really hooking us up right now, so we
Let's do
have
it.
to show them some love.
Let's do it. Let's bring it.
Well, how about you guys start talking to them? I'll pull up the fucking.
Okay.
You guys do
So
it.
Where is your stat? Where is it? You didn't bring it. You freaking. Where is it?
I got it right here.
Oh, pull it out.
That's what
I didn't get no stash logic.
No.
I was supposed to hit him up. I'm
We're
sorry.
gonna get
Me too.
Trust me, you'll get one.
I know. I was just
wish-
kidding.
You'll
I'm
get
not worried
one.
about it.
next
So
week.
this product is really a must-have if you drive with cannabis in your car, even if it's legal
Yeah.
cannabis in your car, even if you are not smoking. If it's legal cannabis, it needs to be in some lockable enclosure where you have an expectation of privacy.
I like to leave mine open so I
Has
can
to
like
be a
reach it while I'm
combination.
driving.
Yeah, I like to have it right there so I
Just
can roll.
kidding.
This fits
between.
right in the
What the
cup holder.
fuck?
What do you mean?
No,
Yeah,
that's so
exactly.
wrong.
I'm a
Jeff
kidding
Guard
with
was
you.
on the show.
Cup holder.
And
The guard dog would not
DUI.
have
If you want to get
purged.
bummed out, have a lawyer on your show. Yeah. That'll bum you out right away. You're like, wait a minute. So everything I'm doing is not right?
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's not good.
T-shirt over the top, bro.
Yeah. So
Jeez.
If you
Every
drive a
time.
have you
car,
seen J-Lo's car?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If you drive a car
What does that mean?
that
You fucking assholes.
What does that mean? You know what that means. It means you have
Are you guys
many
talking shit?
infractions.
that doesn't have a trunk, and even if you do, you want to have an added layer of protection
Oh,
so that
I've
you
got a
understand that you have an expectation of privacy. If you don't have that, anything in your car will be searched by a police officer. Okay? The
Isn't
Supreme
that what
Court-
you said? Is it SUV?
This is coming from a
You would
police officer, so you know it's real.
For real.
You're a cop.
It's true.
He shaved the
Truth.
sideburns,
That's why
but
he
he's
takes
still
it
a cop.
so serious.
That's so fucked up.
Oh, I know.
That's so fucked up. You have no idea how fucked up. I wanted to be a 911
It's gonna happen one
call
day if you're-
taker.
you're gonna
I
live.
wanted to be the guy that helped people,
We believe
not be
you.
the fucking cop.
He's got the
That
undercover
I
card
wanted to
going
be
too now.
that point where you were in crisis and you called me for help and you called me a cop. No, they're the ones that show up after a 911 call taker does their job. And if they had the tools to do it correctly, they wouldn't dispatch police.
Only an
to ser-
undercover cop.
Just
would say that.
bagels. They just send
such a
bagels. They
jackass.
just send people around with
Just
bagels.
get a stash Logics. Enter Dunn deal. It's 20% off. You
Done
really need to
deal.
have this product.
It's
They
a good
are
product. Okay.
Bagels wouldn't
I agree,
hurt.
Dave.
Bagels wouldn't hurt.
By the way,
though.
Oh no! What did I do? Okay, all right. Okay, so last week we gave away a light, and if
was
you want to
Brad.
win a light next
She
month,
get through to him because she was trying to find him.
what? Who?
The winner.
winner.
It's in the done deal. They're talking to each other.
Oh, of course.
See, the new rep actually, I get to see all the behind the scenes. So now I get to see all that. That's pretty cool, man. Anyways,
There's
so
the party
if
guy.
you want to win this light and have me be in on the behind the scenes here, you can give us an email at
What was all that?
donedeal@adamdunshow.com and tell us why you need a light. Leave us your number. I swear we won't be creepy with it. And
Whoa!
you have to know the word.
Speak for
He's
yourself.
speaking for everyone here. I don't
Speak
know.
for yourself.
I signed
Fucking
nothing.
weirdos.
If you say it, you know it's going to be creepy. Just by you saying that was creepy.
Just kidding. You guys aren't weird.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? Of course I am.
Oh,
I mean, just
really?
that Jeffrey Dahmer looking dude next to you.
Wow. You know what it is? He's taking time off in a few weeks, right? Right, like 2 weeks, right? That's what it is.
He's
He's got to deal with us for one more week, and then that's it.
hilarious.
Yeah, and of course we're doing some remote where we're going to have to take all this crap. So.
Holy fuck.
Anyways, all right.
You are such a
All this
curmudgeon.
crap.
Well, we started getting sloppy in this last.
We're going to bring our little mini version, dude. I'm
Okay,
taking
good.
all this crap.
I was just kidding.
Jeez.
I'm kidding. Come on.
course.
It's all a character.
Luminarlighting.com.
I love everything we
Don't
do.
break character. Jesus, what
Yeah,
are you doing?
geez. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to know the word of the month.
There you go. Back to normal.
Luminarlighting.com. Give us a light. Give us an email.
That's right.
Fuck it, man.
Why would you say that?
All I had to say was that.
SeedsHereNow.com.
Next.
SeedsHereNow.com. Done deal.
My kid even understands.
You'll get
that.
10% off. You'll get 10% off. And you can go to his vault. The vault
Which is
contains
blowing up, right? I have to say.
seeds.
I'm not blowing up because you don't want to blow it up.
Not
But
like
someone didn't actually blow his vault up. Don't get like that.
Look at the glow from the vault.
Like,
It
I
might
have
be
to
blowing up.
clarify
But it
that.
is blowing up.
That's even more fucked up.
goodness.
But he was saying there was some good shit in there. Like, when
This
he
could be a
says it, you know
snapshot in
it's,
time.
it's real. Yeah.
Dave,
Sleepers.
turn
Okay.
that frown upside down.
Go back to the rap. I want to hear the rap
No
again.
editing on
You
this.
gotta.
Anyone
No, there's
wanna
no
hear?
editing. It's fine.
Email.
We're good.
These are
But in general, we never have to edit because we have all great people that we're working with, including James. James Bean, man on the scene,
Do we have any?
killing it with the Seeds Here Now crew. So then just, and Cowboy Cup
Cowboy Cup.
coming up
Cowboy
soon.
Cup.
That's going to come up fast. So we have to stay on top of that.
The Cowboy Cup.
Oh, yeah. You're getting
Should I
ready.
dress like a cowgirl?
What's the Cowboy Cup?
Hello.
Daisy Dukes.
If you don't, we'd be very
It's gonna
disappointed.
be fucking cold.
You understand our brand, right? Adam and I have to be baked beyond anything. People have to look at us and go, how did you guys talk for that long, smoke that much? You have to show up in Daisy Dukes.
That's all you have to do.
Okay?
Y'all told me before the
really?
first time.
And then talk about Avid.
Yes,
Wow.
thank you, MTI.
all the weed there was,
Thank
or
you.
people wouldn't believe the science I
No,
was
that
talking
was wrong
about.
with me. You don't have to show up like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
dress up like
You
a
should-
cowgirl.
It's okay.
Look at
It's
him at
okay.
his age. Like, he's just stepping in it.
Oh, dude.
MTI gave him the.
You threw
okay,
me
let's
off my
talk about
game with that fucking
With that.
Archive, Atlas.
Seeds Here Now, SHN auctions. That's the seeds you want,
Calculator.
right? He takes 2 packs, he puts them aside. If nobody complains, that's how you get them
GG.
You got
on
that
the auction site.
rarebloom.io
What do you mean?
site.
I
Look
was
that up.
Not yet,
reading
but
that.
I'll do that.
Pull that up and we'll do that as our ender because that's next
I
week's
got-
show, so we can explain what we're doing so people know what the fuck is happening.
I got Ender. Rapping.
You got an ender?
When it come to
Well, no, wait, hold on.
Rarebloom.io.
Rarebloom.io. That's where we're going to be next Friday.
I know, and that's what I told him to pull up. There it is. Look at that.
That's
So
the
you guys
place.
just started talking. It already happened. Yeah, I'm talking about it.
Oh shit! I didn't know that was me.
He did not.
Huh?
What?
No, I just noticed.
You knew
That's
that little
amazing.
snip was you, and you didn't know that?
Okay, next week we're doing something apparently.
We're going to be here at the Rare Bloom.
I wasn't
event.
asked about it, but we could just do it. It's cool.
Oh, don't even go there.
So, are we doing it?
Are we doing
course.
it? Yes, we are doing it.
Do we
We're
get
gonna have.
rooms?
It's not going to be just us. It's going to be.
Welcome to Rare
We're going
Bloom.
to be with our buddy Kyle and his NF Trees project. Will be sharing a booth space with us, and we're going to also have Pogo there with his NFT glass. Yes, NFT is still alive, people. I
Do we
know it's
get rooms?
97% down, but it's okay.
Fresh hemp?
Fresh Hemp will be there with some winter gear, which would be perfect timing.
We
'cause
get
it'll be-
rooms so we can go swimming.
I'm gonna get a room so that we can go swimming. Yes, we're gonna have. We'll have
Nice.
a room there, a room just to go.
Don't
and,
pee in the pool,
you
Vinny.
know,
There's that pool.
Yeah.
Pool's already 90% pee.
That's
No, that pool is-
disgusting.
Don't you watch South
it's pure
Park?
pee. It's all pee.
Pure
I'm
pee.
bringing my own
Pure pee.
H2O too.
It's gonna be a super cool event, though. It is about 750 tickets have been sold already, so that's
There'll be 1,000 by the time it starts.
yeah.
Look
and
at all these people.
Look at them all. Look at them all.
If you had an
They were
interest-
millionaires for 1 second. They were all billionaires for like 2 seconds, and now they're down
Until
to
this
100
year.
heirs. They're 100 heirs.
I don't know.
There's at
One of
least
them was a
100 heir in
cartoon.
there.
I
You
don't
you
know
are
one of
thinking the
those
way we
logos.
think in that. Anybody who has made a substantial fortune in crypto was running an algorithm that tanked their position the moment it hit a threshold. So when it went by like 1.5% dip for more than a couple of seconds, it all just moved into a different currency that wasn't on that trend and protected them from that variant.
Those fucking guys and their nerdiness.
So don't think that they lost anything. It's only the people that bought one Bitcoin a while ago, then went to work and then forgot about it, just saw they lost $40,000.
They saw it went up and they saw it came down, and now it ain't nothing. No, but it'll be a cool show, and we're going to be the unique weed people, because that's our job.
Cool, dude.
We're the weed people. We're coming there as our little weed island. We're gonna have our little weed island.
We have a 10 by 20. That's big space, man.
Yeah, and we're gonna be basically they're gonna be like, so what do you do? And we're gonna basically let our NFT guy reel them in, so they'll be like, oh, I get it, and then they're gonna look at my tapes and go like, my brain just melted, and that's gonna be pretty much how it's gonna go. I already see it.
We're going there on Friday and Saturday.
They have an agenda.
Friday and Saturday.
Not a fucking
we will be
troll.
there. Yeah. And when's our thing?
Oh, look, Adam Dunn and guests.
Oh shit! Speakers. We're in there. What time is it?
2:30 p.m.
We're talking.
Just in time
on day one.
Oh, good thing you looked
Who
that
are you
up,
talking
bro.
to?
It's good to know. It's good to know what, because we would have never looked that up. You know, we would have been like on the second day. I'd be like, so when am I speaking? And they'd have been like, you were on the first day of the 2:30.
Are you remembering exactly what I told you? Right, you missed
Friday?
your speaking slot.
I've missed so many speaking slots.
Is that Friday?
You got a PowerPoint ready, bro?
2:30. That's perfect.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, he's got his PowerPoint.
2:30 on
He's got
Friday?
slides.
No, we're doing a panel.
Oh,
Is that
That's
what
why it says friends.
Panel.
A microbial
Yes.
panel?
Are we
Adam
recording
Dunn,
that
yes.
panel?
Just gonna sit
Is that what's
back?
happening?
The guests
Oh,
are
look, Mark wants to get
Pogo
out of
We don't even have to talk.
and the
I don't
NFT
give a
guy.
fuck.
And everybody that's at our booth is going to be on the
I can
panel.
just run everything from here.
I'm going to be doing like the intro, the
don't-
outro, and the
And
come on over and I'll be making fun of Dave pretty much is what my job. So my job is to
Dave,
go.
this is your first prostate exam.
Nope.
So if you're our Patreon listener, then you already
Hang in
know
there.
you know the game. 10 more minutes, we'll be back.
See you soon.
If not, we'll see you next
Peace
week.
and love.
And
I'll be dressed up in
shout out-
cowgirl outfit.
Shout out to all the guests. Shout out to Colin. Shout out to obviously
Telly.
to Andrew, and to shout out to Duffy and Telly. Telly's now here.
around.
He's hanging out for Patreon. So if
You're gonna let Hatch take us out?
Oh, shit.
Does he have
We're
to
already
work?
doing it.
He's already
We already did the work.
He did
We
the
recorded
work.
it. We put it to wax.
Yeah, it's already ready. It's making money right now.
Released on
We're getting paid.
SoundCloud already.
Yeah, we already put on sound. He's a SoundCloud rapper now.
We're producers.
Put it
He's
wax.
about to get an eye tattoo in the 10-minute
Put it to
break.
wax. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
By the time we're back from
I got
Patreon,
wax.
he's gonna have half his face tattooed.
Yeah.
That is-
Yeah,
You've-
I will.
Does he
On
have to
other
get an
people.
eye
I'm not
tattoo?
going to actually get my own face tattooed,
That's a
but
wrap.
I'm going to have other people.
And that's a real rap.
Okay.
All right,
Bye.
peace out, guys. See you next week.
Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing.
Me?
Want you to smoke the natural herb.
Sweet.
Some call it marijuana.
Sweet.
Some call it sensimilla.
Sweet.
Some call it lamb's bread.
The tea.
And some people call it